or our family. It brought us together. And there was never any, oh, you guys sucked, you choked, and blah, blah, blah. Not one time. And you figure just, averages, you're going to run into something like that. And literally for a week, I got nothing but just, hey, thank you very much, congratulations. So it's almost like you kind of felt like you pulled the rug out from all these people's feet, right? And so in 16, when the Cubs won, sure, great for the organization, but genuinely for the city of Chicago and for all the Cubs fans, super excited. And look at I had 1 year of frustration. Just I had been there, but I was very aware of the history and very aware of what it meant. Just even in 2003 for the Cubs to win, and then to finish it off in 16, great.
Where does the night of the Moises Alou interference with the fan? I'm not going to just call it by the kid's name.
No, right. No. I mean, I was. So the crazy thing is, at the time, so I'm playing first base on that play, and at the time, I didn't. We're going to win, right? We're going to still win this game. We got Pryor on the hill. He's dealing. We're gonna still win this. Even after Game 6. I felt like Game 7, it was Redmond versus Wood.
Yep.
We're winning that. We're winning that 100 out of 100 times.
And Kerry homered. I was in the bleachers that night. Kerry homered.
Right, yeah, Kerry did homer, but remember, before we even sat down in the dugout, Cabrera had homered, and we were down 3-0. And it was like, oh, okay, well, might not be as simple as I thought this was going to be here. But then, yeah, we went ahead. So this is we went ahead 5-3, and in the bottom, I think it was the 5th inning. Kerry's pitching. I think it was the fifth, maybe 4th. Walks a leadoff guy named Brian Banks. Inauspicious walk. Brian Banks never plays after that season. Goes on to be a successful dentist. Walks Brian Banks on like.
Celebra tú también con Betcris.
A snack that Freddie cannot resist.
I would have to say chips and guacamole. Organic mango, yep.
Is that because of the strong Dominican contingent in the major leagues, bro? Has anybody ever struck out and gone crazy and smashed the cooler full of mangoes?
Nah, our team's not really into smashing each other's stuff, I guess.
Are you a seasoning guy? You like to drown your stuff in dips and sauces?
No. Gotta watch my figure.
And it looks great, brother.
I appreciate it.
Very sexy man. Yeah, let's go, Freddie Freeman, ladies and gentlemen.
Is First American.
Gotta go or Mom's gonna worry.
First American has products that make us smart savers and smart borrowers.
See, Mom made tapioca pudding for me.
First American CDs offer some of the highest rates.
But my mom says...
Your wife says we may even need a loan soon. And First American's fixed-rate home equity loan is a smart way to borrow.
Yeah, but Mom says that
we can get the money and...
Okay. Well, check out First American Bank. Now, who can that be? Mom!
When you didn't show up, I got worried. Here's your tapioca. Dad's parking the car. Who's this?
Mom, it's my wife, Carol.
Oh, yeah, we met you at the wedding. Hi, dear.
First American Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit us online at firstambank.com or call us at 847-952-3700. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Mr. Ramirez, you watched the whole match from home. Tell us, how was the Xfinity Wi-Fi?
Elite. The Wi-Fi was booming throughout the whole match. Never had a doubt about its performance.
Is it true you had 3 screens going on at once?
TV for the game, tablet for the other game, and my phone for the memes. Everything smooth. Xfinity Wi-Fi is like a Dutch midfielder. Never loses the ball.
And you caught every minute of the action. What about lag or buffering?
Xfinity has the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included. Just as reliable as you know whose left foot.
Enjoy live sports, telenovelas, and more in Spanish or English with Now TV Latino free for 6 months when you get Xfinity Internet with 5-year price guarantee. Plus, add an included unlimited mobile line for a year. Visit Xfinity.com/NowTVLatino today. Offer ends 9/30. Restrictions apply. 300 megabit internet or above required. Now TV Latino and Xfinity Mobile require Xfinity or Now Internet. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced mobile speeds after 30 gigabits of usage. Data thresholds vary.
Now it's time for the Hyundai Next Day Strikeout Highlight. Here's a great Cubs radio call.
Call, strike 3. Rocchio jumps up in disappointment, freezes him with a fastball at the bottom of the zone on the inner half.
All strikeouts by Cubs pitchers are brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thanks for meeting me here. It's just, you're my only lawyer friend, and I need your professional opinion. Do you see that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there? That's all I paid for it.
Let me get back to you on that.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on all Hyundai Santa Fe models. And check out our other great deals at your Hyundai dealer today. Offer ends September 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce! Spruce! Spruce!
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
At Straight Talk, we are all about no-brainers. Calling Grandma for her recipe, no-brainer. Streaming one more episode at 2 a.m., big no-brainer. Getting real unlimited data where you buy bananas, the ultimate no-brainer. Switch now and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2025 with select plans. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid through 7/20/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires in-store activation of single line gold unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
And now, Odyssey, WSCR, 670 The Score, and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network exclusively present the Cubs Radio pregame show, driven by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Buick and GMC dealers. Brought to you in part by CatchDesMoines.com, Citgo, Chef IQ Sense, Ziegler Subaru of Kenosha, Fitzgerald Equipment, Patriot Pavement Maintenance, TimberTech Decking and Railing, Bet365, The Village of Bedford Park, and McGrath Acura of Westmont. And now your host, Zach Zaidman.
Cubs look to keep the fireworks going on this 4th of July weekend. Hi, everyone. A pleasant good afternoon to you from beautiful Wrigley Field. I'm Zach Zaidman. It's the middle game of a 3-game set between the first-place Cubs and third-place St. Louis. 6.5 games separate them in the National League Central. Coming up, we'll hear from both hitting coach Dustin Kelly and manager Craig Counsell. But first, our conversation with Kuhn, sponsored by Yuengling Traditional Lager, the oldest brewery in America, and by Hatfield. Better care, better pork. Joined now by Ron Coomer. And Coom, Independence Day featured some history by the Cubs.
Oh, boy, you're not kidding. And talk about fireworks. You know, fireworks last night, fireworks during the day. 8 home runs by the Cubs is a franchise record. And right from the very beginning, the Cubs took off. A very nice ball game for the Cubs and a very good win to start the series.
And I should mention that right now, as we speak, the wind blowing out, which means we could have very similar conditions to what transpired yesterday afternoon. Time now for the keys to the game. Sponsored by Heat and Frost Insulators and the Illinois Regional Insulation Contractors. Visit local17insulators.com and by Toyota. Visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. So it's a bullpen day for the Cubs, Coom. Left-hander Drew Pomerantz is the opener. St. Louis going with a traditional starter in left-hander Matthew Liberatore.
Yeah, bullpen game for the Cubs, unfortunately, with Taillon going down with the calf injury. That's unfortunate, it really is.
I'm going to throw out a restaurant kitchen term to you, and then hit me with the baseball one. I'll start first.
Okay.
Mise en place.
Oh, mise en place. That is, as the chef, you put all your different
T-Dogs for the last 30 years. Great experience.
Everybody here is just bends over backwards to help people out and wish the world was like it is right here at the ballpark.
We've always wanted to be more than just a baseball team. We want to be strong, active, contributing members of the community. And I think that effort is seen by the people and the fans, and they want to support that effort.
So Rockies is really like where my major league career really took off. It was a special time in my life, 7 years with the team. And this jersey in particular, 2018 postseason patch on it here. So I've always kept all these jerseys with the patch on them because that's what it's all about, is getting to the playoffs and trying to win the championship. The black jersey with the cutoff, not a lot of teams rock the cutoff anymore, but this is a jersey we wore all the time in Colorado.
Investments in the tech sector are subject to greater risk and more volatility than more diversified investments. The NASDAQ 100 Index comprises the 100 largest non-financial companies on the NASDAQ. You can't invest directly into an index. Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Visit Invesco.com for a prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully before investing. Invesco is not affiliated with the Chicago Cubs. Invesco Distributors, Inc.
Future You is using their rapid rewards for their next vacation. All thanks to Present You signing up with Southwest Airlines, where you earn points every time you fly. Because what's the point of points that future you can't use? And since your Rapid Rewards points don't expire, you can save up for that big trip. Get ready to reward future you with a future flight. Sign up for Rapid Rewards today and redeem your points on any seat, any day, anytime. Only at Southwest. All Rapid Rewards rules and regulations apply and can be found at southwest.com/RR terms.
As the official water efficiency partner of the Chicago Cubs, Sloan has greeted fans with sustainable restroom products at Wrigley Field for 111 years. And now Sloan is excited to introduce new innovation to Cubs fans throughout the concourse with its brand new bottle fillers to provide clean drinking water while reducing plastic waste throughout the friendly confines. Learn more at Sloan.com and go Cubs go!
Tag team bits and sockets with a Bosch 18-volt 2-in-1 impact driver. The more you Bosch, the more you feel like a boss.
Take Cubs baseball with you wherever you go in the Chicagoland area with the Odyssey app. Download the app and search 670 The Score. Cubs hosting St. Louis. This is the Cubs Radio pregame show driven by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Buick and GMC dealers. It is time now for the inside pitch. We say hello to Score Baseball insider Bruce Levine. And, Bruce, you had a chance to hear from Jamison Taillon today.
I did indeed. Now, the Cubs will be without starter Taillon for 4 to 6 weeks with a tear of the right calf. JMO was asked if this was an injury from a game situation.
I was just running sprints like I always do after my bullpen. Unfortunately, I was on my last rep and just was literally almost done for the day and felt it kind of grab on me. So, again, just typical bullpen day, working through it, and it just came out of nowhere.
Taillon had been an anchor to the staff without the services of Justin Steele and Shota Imanaga. In the meantime,
We're still working through it, but I think we're going to try to keep my arm conditioned, do some throwing off my knees, like stationary bike, upper body workouts, arm care. We're still kind of like working through what I can and can't do in the weight room, but I think, just going through some movement, I think we'll be able to stay pretty conditioned, which is good.
Zach, a trade for a starting pitcher has become more of a need than...
Well, this is a World Series card. Everybody said, what's it going to be to pitch against Sandy Koufax, who's a dominant pitcher? I said, I hope I don't embarrass myself. And I didn't. Pitched my first shutout ever. We won 6-0, and my parents were there. My mom was afraid of heights, so she was in the upper deck. She had to come down and trade seats with somebody so that she could actually watch her 20-year-old son pitch a shutout in the World Series.
Triples and saves are sponsored by Great Lakes Credit Union, Chicago's credit union. Join GLCU's mission of banking for a greater good at glcu.org. Cubs home versus St. Louis. This is the Cubs Radio pregame show, driven by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Buick and GMC dealers. It is time now to check on who's hot and cold, sponsored by Plumbers 911. Plumbing emergency, call the professionals. Available 24/7 at 1-833-PLUM-911. Impossible to be hotter than Michael Busch right now. He's hitting .455 over his last 7 games with 4 homers and 9 RBIs. Busch in the lineup today against a left-hander. The cold, Ian Happ, 2 for 29 over his last 7 games. The injury report is sponsored by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Visit ibji.com for locations and services. Nolan Arenado scratched by St. Louis, right shoulder impingement. So Thomas Saggese is now at third for the Cardinals. Coming up, the hitting coach next on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Hey Chicago, this is Matthew Boyd. Pat and Ron call every game here on the Chicago Cubs Radio Network.
Hey folks, Coom here. Since teaming up with the fine folks at Yuengling Beer, I've heard this question a lot. Ron, how has Yuengling managed to be around for 196 years? Well, it comes down to one thing. They brew great beer. Simple as that. It takes real quality to become the oldest brewery in America, and Yuengling's been doing it right since 1829. Whether it's traditional lager, light lager, Flight by Yuengling, they all have the same commitment to flavor and craftsmanship. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America. Official beer of the Cubs Radio Network, DG Yuengling & Sons, Pottsville, PA.
Cubs fans, 670 The Score gives you an insider's perspective of your favorite team throughout the season. Talking to Ian Happ, Tuesdays at 11:25 a.m. during Score Middays.
Nico Horner, Tuesdays at 2:30 with Spiegel and Holmes.
Cubs manager Craig Counsell, bi-weekly with Spiegel and Holmes.
Plus, we'll talk to Cubs president of baseball operations Jed Hoyer and GM Carter Hawkins throughout the season as well.
We are your official radio home of the Cubs. Chicago's Sports Radio 670 The Score.
Get huge savings on pools, patio sets, everything for your backyard fun. And right now, get special financing for 60 months. American Sale. Bring the fun home.
Cubs Cardinals at Wrigley Field as we approach the top of the hour. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Listen to the Cubs game in FM quality at 104.3 HD2 FM on the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network. We are WSCR Chicago, WBMX HD2 Chicago, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Cubs Cardinals here at the friendly confines. This is the Cubs Radio pregame show driven by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Buick and GMC dealers. In our Cubs conversation, I asked hitting coach Dustin Kelly to assess his offense after yesterday's record-setting day with the Cubs hitting 8 home runs.
Really good players. Yeah, I think that's the first thing. Obviously, it's been a really good offense this year, but we have really good players that are performing at a high level right now, and yesterday was a fun day to be a part of.
What's it like when you're watching your guys do what they did yesterday?
Yeah, I think even going into the game plan, right, we've had success against Mick.
I want to ask you about food. What is something that you have to eat to be the judge?
Oh, Aaron Judge! Send him to Monument Park now!
We got some good chefs in New York. They've been cooking up some nice chopped cheeses, and that kind of, it gets you, I don't know if I should tell the kids that they should be eating chopped cheese before a game.
Before the game, probably steak. That's usually what I go to.
I like a steak, no vegetables. No vegetables?
No vegetables.
No, is it straight protein?
Yeah.
My security right there. That's the bad one, Roscoe Pico train.
Major League Baseball wanted to start doing something with the players and their dogs.
Which one's the dog?
I was undecided on whether to do a dog card or not, but my wife pushed me in the back and she wanted a famous dog, so she told me to do it.
This year, and with this lineup and the length that we have, we can be a little more patient with him of how this process is going, and I think he takes comfort in that as well.
Another player that I wanted to ask you about a little bit, Justin Turner's a veteran who's had so much success in his career, but he hasn't been himself this year at the plate. How do you recapture some of what he's had?
And I think with JT, right, he just hasn't gotten the at-bats that he'd gotten in the past couple of years. I mean, if you look at the back of his baseball card, he had been playing 150 games a year, so he was getting a lot of consistent at-bats. And I think going into this year, he knew that he wasn't going to get the same amount of bats he's gotten in the past, so there was going to be a different role. That's a tricky role. It's a hard role for guys, especially when you're usually just facing the lefties. You're coming in off the bench, and you're facing a good lefty, right? We're making that move for a JT, for a Bushy, or a left-handed at bat, knowing that left-handed pitcher is coming in to face that guy. So they're always tough at bats. But what JT brings, he brings so much more than just that right-handed bat off the bench. And he's great with our guys. He's great in our game planning meetings, and he's hanging out in the cage all day. So there's so much more to just what you see on the scoreboard stat line.
When we look at Ian Happ, at the end of the year the numbers will be what they've always been, but sometimes you have to ride the wave a little bit. How challenging is that for you as a hitting coach?
Yeah, I think it's challenging because we're in the fight with these guys, right? And everybody wants to go out there and succeed. And it's hard to say, at the end of the year, your stat line's going to be this, because we live in the moment, right? And we're trying to, he wants to get a hit his next at bat. He wants to feel really good. So Happer's such a pro. His routine, everything he does is like dead spot on every single day. And you just know that things are going to click for him. And when he gets hot and gets rolling, there's no stopping him.
There are a couple of players that I know once I mention them, you're going to be smiling from ear to ear. Michael Busch, the ascent. He continues to grow as a player. Can you take us behind the scenes why that's happening?
Yeah, I think with Busch, he made a little bit of a swing change during the offseason. We talked last year quite a bit about how his barrel would get kind of high and his hands would launch from a higher spot than what maybe we wanted and he wanted. So going into this offseason, it was like, hey, we're going to try and keep the bat a little bit flatter, make you a little more direct, give you a little better chance to kind of drive the ball to the pull side. And he showed up to spring training the first day, and we'd seen videos of it back and forth back in Minnesota, but it was a completely different swing, and we noticed it right away. So it was like, the swing decisions are great, the power's there, he's going to walk, and it's like now he's just impacting the ball, and like righties cannot get him out right now.
When it comes to Pete, how do you teach something that we haven't really seen before in this game?
Yeah, I think you're going to see things that Pete does that most players cannot, and I think we've seen that since he was, since we acquired him in that trade, and we knew that it was special, right? You just didn't know like how we were going to harness it, and just the amount of work that he's put in to try and become really consistent. And I think that's what we asked for him. It's like, we want you to be consistent. We know that the flash is there, we know the power's there, we know all the tools are there, but we want those to show up multiple times in a game throughout an at bat, and not just flashes of it. And he's putting together an incredible year.
What surprised you about what he's done this year?
Yeah, it'd be hard not to say the power. I think like we knew that there was some power in there, but to have this many homers at the break going into it is definitely a surprise. It's, it's not something that we had envisioned right away, but you see it now and you're like, this isn't the end of it, right? There's more in there.
All right. Everyone has their narrative of the Cubs offense. What have we missed that you look at on a day-to-day basis that we should be talking about?
Because, man.
Thanks, JT. Appreciate you.
We wanted to introduce something new. And then working in some of our past and what the past can look like in the future. I think our players absolutely love it, and our fans, we think they'll learn to love it, especially if you can win in it. That kind of solves everything.
I can't imagine transitioning from loving baseball cards to then knowing it's inevitably coming that you're going to be on baseball cards. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, I think the first card I saw was when they did something for USA Baseball, and then now seeing my face, seeing me playing baseball on a card, it was surreal. It wasn't that it was that moment where we're like, wow, this is really something.
I want to ask you about food. What is something that you have to eat to beat a judge?
Oh, Aaron Judge! Send him to Monument Park now!
We got some good chefs in New York. They've been cooking up some nice chopped cheeses, and that kind of, it gets you, I don't know if I should tell the kids that they should be eating chopped cheese before a game.
Before the game, probably steak. That's usually what I go to.
I like a steak, no vegetables.
No vegetables?
No vegetables.
No, is it straight protein?
Yeah.
For well-qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card over 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Surround yourself in color with Regal Select from Benjamin Moore. Rich, durable, and effortlessly beautiful. Find yours at your locally owned retailer. Visit BenjaminMoore.com today.
Cubs Cardinals at Wrigley Field. Time now to hear from Cubs manager Craig Counsell, sponsored by the Village of New Lenox, leading the way in residential and economic development. Now with Jamison Tyone injured, here's how Counsell plans to navigate the pitching staff through the All-Star break.
I think it's what you'd expect. We had a good day yesterday. That helps today. We have an extra guy in the bullpen. That helps. That spot essentially has one more start before the break. So I think that gives us some options of how we want to do it. But when you're, pitching with 4 starters, you kind of got to take it day by day. So, you play today's game. We're in good shape for today's game, and then we'll see what that means for tomorrow.
The baseball board next on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Cubs Talk with Spiegel and Holmes on your ride home. Afternoons 2 to 6 on The Score.
Welcome to Old National Bank.
Hi, I was wondering what you could do for my small business.
Tons. Have time to talk?
Not much. We're in a 30-second radio ad.
Oh, I'll get straight to the point then. Our solutions are customized for small businesses. Our services make financial management simple, and our pricing is always transparent.
Outstanding. Wow.
Yeah. So, ever been in an ad before?
Nope. How do I look?
Good. But we're on the radio, remember?
Right. Hi, Mom.
Customized small business banking from Old National Bank. Member FDIC. Get old.
News just in. Bet365 today.
And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Illinois. Jesus apply and app only.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Celebra tú también con Betcris.
Drop I did with his estate. So we just signed a deal at therealist.com to actually go through his entire archives, present them, and auction them off. And to announce it, we did this limited edition 1994 The Lost Season card. Because between August of '93 And May of 95, Tony Gwynn batted .406
Yeah.
in 162 games. So in the back, we have the stats of what could have been.
To be underway, but the Rays and Twins delayed by rain in Minnesota. Here at Wrigley, it's time for baseball. Cubs, Cardinals, Pat, Ron, next on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Hey Cubs fans, it's Pete Crow Armstrong. Listen to every game here on the Chicago Cubs Radio Network.
The Chef IQ Sense is a wireless cooking thermometer everyone should have. It eliminates under or overcooking your chicken, fish, or meat to achieve perfection. Order one now on chefiq.com. That's chefiq.com.
In baseball, the numbers are pretty simple. 4 bases, 3 outs, 2 teams, 1 winner. Well, my friends at Ziegler Subaru of Kenosha make the numbers pretty simple, too. With the latest incentives and a great selection of new and pre-owned models, Ziegler Subaru of Kenosha will knock it out of the park. And they'll never inflate their prices based on available.
And you're just too stylish to have superstitions.
Zero. I can't do it. Too many collared cleats, too many gloves, too many wedding gloves, too many bats.
I do put on my right glove first, then the left, then the thumb guard, then I put on my leg guard, my elbow guard.
Anything you put on first?
Nah, not really.
Nothing?
Nah. I like to say I'm not superstitious, but a little stitious.
What is it that kind of got you hooked as a foodie, so to speak?
My dad was really into food when I was a kid. He traveled for work and he would go to places all over Europe and stuff. He was in sales and I feel like he would come home and try and cook the things he ate overseas. And so as a kid, I was exposed to a lot of like stuff that kids aren't usually exposed to. And so I credit my dad for that.
Which began on a rousing note for the Cubs yesterday as they clobbered a franchise record number of home runs, 8, in an easy 11-3 win. Today, left-handers will start for their respective teams. Matthew Liberatore going for the Cardinals, and Drew Pomeranz starting for the Cubs. Pomeranz expected to only work an inning or 2 at the most. Again, hot and humid. We'll get the temperature data a bit later. Right now, let's get right to the starting lineups for today's game. The lineups are sponsored by Verizon, the most reliable 5G in Chicago. Leading off for the visitors from the Show Me State, Brendan Donovan at second base, Mason Wynn at short, batting third and playing at first, Wilson Contreras. Alec Burleson is the cleanup man for St. Louis. Burleson in right. Thomas Sajasi is batting fifth and playing third base. Lars Nootbaar in left. Nolan Gorman batting seventh, the designated hitter. Pedro Pajes catching and batting ninth and playing in center, Victor Scott II. Cubs have taken the field. We're going to take a timeout, come back. We'll get you the Cubs lineup momentarily. Baseball right around the corner. The Cubs and the Cardinals back to get it started right after this on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Cubs fans, Ian Happ here. Pat and Ron call every game on the Chicago Cubs Radio Network.
For Trash Day Nose Yoga with Hefty. Let's transform stinky scenarios with a joyful scent of Fabuloso. Inhale. You forgot to empty your kid's lunchbox. Exhale. A field of lavender. Inhale. Stinky leftovers. Exhale. Watermelon in the summer. That's the power of Hefty Ultra Strong Trash Bags with Fabuloso.
Hefty, Hefty, Hefty!
It's game time. Time to crack open a Yuengling. After 196 years, the wait is over. Yuengling is finally available here in Illinois. Look for it at your favorite bar or store. Yuengling, the oldest brewery in America. And Pat, yesterday, a very historic day for the Cubs. 8 home runs, a franchise record in the ball game. 4th of July, fireworks definitely came early.
I think there's going to be some more action in this game, Ron, with these conditions. Wind blowing straight out to center. And we are ready for baseball. We thank you for joining us. Brendan Donovan leads it off against the left-hander, Drew Pomeranz. The first pitch is taken for a ball, and away we go. Donovan hitting .293. 1 for 3 in yesterday's opener. He takes a strike. Drew Pomeranz has pitched great baseball out of the Cubs bullpen this year. In fact, Ron, you can't really pitch much better than he's done. 26 games has not allowed an earned run. It's almost hard to believe.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, you know, and he's come in. He's been an opener. He's come in and starts of innings, but it's been amazing the production in 23 1/3 innings for him.
Next pitch fouled back, 2-2. As you think about Drew, though, and these conditions, what's on your mind, Ron?
I think just you have to have good command today. We saw yesterday, if you throw some pitches in the middle of the plate, they get hit and they can go a long way.
Fastball is high, 3-2.
So for Drew, fastball command to me is the most important. You know, being able to locate your heater in, out, up, and down, and staying out of the middle of the plate.
Payoff pitch, fouled away by Donovan. Game time temperature 87, but the humidity factored in, it's more close to triple digits. It's a hot day, breezy. 3-2 delivery, swinging a foul back. Game time temp sponsored by Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Your trusted local experts. 4 Seasons. Cardinals wearing their road uniforms today. Here's a fly ball to left, slicing toward foul territory. Over near the stands is Ian Happ, but it's back in amongst the customers. And these are the same uniforms the Cardinals wore the day that Ryan Sandberg had the 2 homers against Bruce Sutter.
Yeah, that's the old powder blues. We all remember that. I remember watching that game as a kid. What a historic game that was for the Cubs.
Cardinals, powder blue shirts and trousers, red hats and helmets. Here's a pop-up foul and out of play. Red numbers on their backs, red shoes and socks. Cubs in their home whites. White shirts and trousers, the rest is blue. Blue hats, numbers, sleeves, and socks. Most guys wear the white shoes these days. Off the inside corner, and it's a leadoff walk. Donovan gets the free ride. It brings up Mason Wynn. Uniform description sponsored by Benjamin Moore. On the field or the walls of your home, the right team and colors make all the difference. Official paint of the Chicago Cubs, Benjamin Moore.
And this first inning is sponsored by Invesco QQQ. Let's rethink possibility. Invesco Distributors Incorporated.
Win 0-for-3 yesterday. Right-handed batter, and he'll swing and miss. He got fooled on a breaking ball. Wynn has a very unusual batting stance. Feet very close together. He stands in the back of the box, and then he puts his front foot up on the toe as he waits for the pitch to come in. Here's the pitch on the way, and it's driven to right foul and out of play. You see a stance like that, Ron, you wonder, how did that begin? Did he experiment with it during batting practice one day or during a ball game, and he had a good game and said, I'm going to stay with that?
Yeah, what it is, most guys set up kind of traditionally as that pitch is in the dirt. Good block by Kelly. And, and you're scuffling a little. You never make changes when you're going good, just when you're not going good. So then, all of a sudden he probably wanted to get more upright. And then he got his feet a little closer together. Then he wanted to see the ball a little better, and you open your stance up a little. The next thing you know, you got to get a weight shift so that, so you can kind of see how this would evolve into where he's at now.
How much tinkering did you do as Wynn fouls it at the plate? No score, just underway. Did you change your batting stance or style very much during your career?
I tinkered a lot each day even. But not to the point where you would see dramatic changes from, it would be very slight. Like I would move my hands up just a little bit because I wasn't getting down to the ball as well.
Liner foul down the left field line.
Or I would do something with the grip of the bat, because I wasn't getting controlling the barrel the way I wanted. So I would move my fingers up the bat just a touch to get a little more control, or spread out just a little bit, but it wasn't very noticeable.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Wynn chasing a low breaking ball. And Ron thinking, this is game number 89. The weather is very, very warm. I would think some of the tinkering had to do with the simple matter of fatigue.
No doubt. Yeah, you're playing games, and, even to the point where, another thing you wouldn't notice, maybe you go down in size of bat, in the ounces of the bat, where you use, for me, I'd use 33, 34 ounce.
Wilson Contreras gets jammed and fouls it down the right field line. Contreras 0 for 3 yesterday, hitting .246. Playing first base these days. He used to be the Cubs catcher. He does have 11 homers and 51 driven in. No score, just underway. A man at first, one down. Contreras takes up and in from Pomeranz. And they count 1-1.
Fastball inside by Pomeranz. Just missed the up and in corner. Speed gun powered by Xfinity. Get seriously powerful Wi-Fi. Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
Fastball away. Pomeranz, in looking at his game-by-game ledger, it's his first start of the year, but he has not pitched more than an inning in any of his games. Here's the next pitch, a swing and a miss and a high fastball. Let me correct that. I think I saw him. He did work an inning. Yeah, he worked an inning and a third. I highlighted it back on the 20th of April against a Philadelphia team. So an inning and a third is his longest outing of the year prior to today. Here's a swing and a foul back, 2-2. And the stretch. Instead of toss to first.
Yeah, but Pomeranz has been an opener. That's what he is today, right? And then, as you were saying correctly, what are you going to get, an inning? Maybe 2 out of them. And then it'd be Flexen, who they've been trying to stretch out here as of late. So I would anticipate that being the 1, and then 1B would be Flexen, who's also kind of getting himself ready to pitch.
It's going to be a tough day to pitch, no matter who it is on the mound. The ball will carry. Here comes the pitch. Rip foul on the ground past third. Cubs set a franchise record yesterday against their arch rival, the Cardinals, with 8 home runs. Michael Busch had 3, 2 by Pete Crow Armstrong. Seiya Suzuki, Carson Kelly, and Dansby Swanson also homered. And now Contreras takes high for ball 4. So 2 walks And Pomeranz already up to 24 pitches run after just a third of an inning. And Tommy Hodevy out to see about Drew Pomeranz. Tommy is the fine pitching coach for the Cubs.
Yeah, Pomeranz, it seems to me, he's just missing usually his great command of the fastball. He's trying to stay at the top of the zone and just not keeping the ball in the strike zone. He's missed up above the zone quite a few times.
Cubs are in first place. They pushed the Cardinals 6.5 out of first with the win yesterday. Milwaukee able to keep pace with a win in Miami last night. So the Cubs still lead the Brewers by 4 games. St. Louis by 6.5. Cincinnati by 7. Now left-hander against left-hander. Alec Burleson, the batter, hits a little looper into shallow center, a base hit. The runner at second, Donovan, had to hold up thinking that Dansby might catch the ball and advances only to third. And the bags are loaded now with 1 away.
First pitch swinging is Burleson, and he hits this ball, kind of a cue shot right off the end of the bat. And he just gets enough of it just to get it over Swanson's head and into short left center field. And now with the bases loaded and only 1 out, and to your point, the pitch count running up high, Craig Counsell coming out, and that's going to be all for Pomeranz, and we're going to get Chris Flexen into the ball game right here in the first.
Pomeranz works the third of an inning, leaves with the bags loaded. Pitching changes by the Cubs. Those are always.
Guess who that is? Roger McDowell.
Check him out. He has his uniform on upside down with the shoes on the hand, and it looks like he's walking on his hands. Has his cap hanging down. That's supposed to be his head. Well, the Mets really trying to turn it around. They do, however, trail in this ball game 4-0. I love that.
What is it about baseball cards that make them so special? Why do you enjoy doing that?
Well, the biggest thing is I started collecting when I was a kid. O-Pee-Chee was a Canadian hockey league, and then the Canadian football. But I didn't start in the U.S. until I had signed professionally as a ball player. And when I got my first rookie card, and I've got it here with me.
Let's take a peek at that.
1966 with Billy Sorrell.
Today's Tito's Handmade Vodka Canine of the Game is Paulie, a 4-year-old black lab from Chicago. If our team strikes out 9 players, Tito's will make a $100 donation to Anti-Cruelty Chicago. Pat?
It is a great cause, Zach. Thank you. Now Chris Flexen takes over on the mound. Cubs keep the infield back. Cardinals have the bases loaded, and Thomas Saggese batting. Right-hander against right-hander, 1 away. Flexen's first pitch. Fouled away, off to the right, out of play. If you're a pitcher, Ron, and you need a double play, what would be the most effective pitch to throw?
Now you want to either jam a guy and get the ground ball, or get him out in front, rolling over a ground ball. So you could either fastball in, breaking ball down and away.
Fouled away, 0-2.
I think right now Flexen just wants to come in and be able to make quality pitches and just see what happens. He was probably not expecting to pitch in the first inning. He was expecting to probably come in second or third, but that didn't work out that way.
Swinging a foul at the plate. Saggese just did make contact. Saggese was not in the original lineup. Nolan Arenado was penciled into the number 5 spot, but About an hour before the game, we found out that a sore right shoulder forced Arenado out of the lineup and Sajaci in. Here's the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? No swing. Boy, that was close. I'd like to see that one again.
Yeah,
Todd Tishner, the crew chief, at first said no swing. Sure looked like he did swing with that little jab stroke.
Yeah, looked like the barrel came out and got in front of his hands. We're not getting a replay on that, unfortunately.
Now the 1-2 from Flexen to Sajaci. And the pitch fouled away. Good fastball. How about a good sinking fastball right here, Ron?
Yeah.
Something that is maybe at the knees or slightly below. Seems like you get a lot of ground balls on that pitch. Here's the 1-2. A line drive, base hit to right. It'll drive in 1. Over to pick it up is Tucker. It'll drive in 2. Tucker bobbles the ball, and runners advance to second and third. 2-0 Cardinals. 2-run single for Sajaci to right. Let's see if Tucker is charged with an error. He might be.
Yeah, they'll definitely give Tuck an error on that play. This is going to be a single. Bobbles the ball, and then the error is because Sajaci ends up going to second base. No, none of the other guys would have advanced any farther than they did, but now it's second and third. That's the importance of that play. And 2 runs are in. The double play is not in order.
Cubs keep the infield back. Lars Nootbaar, the batter. And he will foul it back out of play down below us. Sajaci with his 8th and 9th runs batted in. Nootbaar 1 for 4 yesterday. Big, tall, left-handed batter. He's got some pop with 11 home runs. And he'll drive it foul off to the left out of play. I'm going to go way out on a limb, Ron. This is not going to be the final score today.
Yes.
I feel pretty confident. I know it's brazen of me to be that outrageous.
That's what makes you a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
Here comes the 0-2 to Nootbaar. It's high for a ball, 1-2.
Yeah, wind howling out the straightaway center field today. It is a great day to hit here at Wrigley Field.
Nootbaar has yellow batting gloves on either hand. And the 1-2 pitch just a little bit high. And several thousand umpires in the stands thought that ball looked pretty good. Boy, it did look good as I watch it again.
Good overhand curveball. It clips the outside corner barely.
Oh, yeah.
But John Tumpane did not raise the right arm.
The 2-2. It's high, ball 3. Tumpane is a Chicagoland native. Tishner, the umpire at first, he's the crew chief. Adam Hammery at second, and James Jean is the umpire at third. Now the 3-2 pitch on the way to Nootbaar. Fouled away. So far, it's been a matter run of just about every single at-bat has been a real chore and a challenge for the guy on the mound.
Yeah, it's going to be all day today. I mean, the hitters know you might as well be aggressive and swing with the wind blowing out. That's the way you're going to, do all the damage. And the pitchers, you can tell, the Cubs guy, Pomerantz and Flexen, they're feeling it. They know that the wind is howling the way it is.
Swinging a high pop-up, playable. The third baseman, Shaw, will make the catch. He held the glove up to block out the sun, but just the way he moved underneath that ball, you could tell it was drifting, and he caught it between the mound and third base. Not a routine play, I would say.
Not at all. Any pop-up that's hit today around the infield is not going to be routine, and the balls hit high and deep in the middle of the field with the sun are not going to be routine.
Nolan Gorman, the batter, left-handed hitter, and he hits a fly ball to shallow left. Happ coming in. He's waiting. He's got it. Well, the Cardinals scored 2, but it could have been a whole lot worse. 2 runs on 2 hits. 1 error and 2 left after a half. Cardinals 2, Cubs coming up on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Hall of Famer.
It is a 1933 Gaudy Babe Ruth card. It is 8.5 PSA. It's rated higher than the one in the Smithsonian.
This card at one point came with a pack or a stick of chewing gum.
This card actually is almost a century old. It was bought for a penny.
So the fact that just the heritage of a card like this is now coming up almost 90 years later into an auction, it's a pretty special moment.
Of the Cubs Radio Network, DG Yingling and Sons, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Car accident? Call DNW right now. Slip and fall? Call DNW right now. Any accident at all? Call DNW Law right now. Don't hesitate. Call the 8s, 312-888-8888.
Today, and his first pitch to Ian Happ is outside for ball one. Ian Happ leading it off. Cubs leadoff man, sponsored by Benny's Beverage Depot. And Happ will take high for ball two. If Ian gets a base hit, Benny's Beverage Depot donates $100 to the Greater Chicago Food Depository. If you can't find it at Benny's, it's probably not worth drinking. Happ batting right-handed, takes high ball three. Ron, we just saw this guy about 10 days ago. What's the plan against Liberator?
Well, he's a guy, he had great command in his last start, and he's had great command. He's won 3 in a row. And
there's a strike.
To me, it's his breaking stuff. He's got a good fastball. The last one, 94, pretty straight on the inside part of the plate. But to me, great command of his curveball, which is a good one, the slider, and then a cutter. And he's been mixing up his pitches very well here as of late.
3-1 to Happ, and that's taken for ball four. It is the leadoff walk. Same way the Cardinals' half of the inning began, and that led to a 2-run uprising. Let's see if this leads to a scoring run for the Cubs as Kyle Tucker is coming up.
With the way the wind is blowing today and the tight strike zone of John Tumpain, partner, I would tell you to get comfortable. We could be here a while.
I think we're going to see a lot of action and a lot of runs scored as Tucker takes high for ball one. Liberator is a big man, 6'5", 215, born in Peoria, Arizona, which is a suburb of Phoenix. Outfield deep and straight away. Tucker 0 for 4 yesterday in the series opener. Lines a base hit to right, curveball, Happ around second holding, and the Cubs have 2 men on as they try to answer right back.
Well, today's going to be one of them days. This is a slider, and this pitch is away, but it's up. It's about, mid-thigh, and Tuck stays right on this pitch and hammers it into right.
Ron, I would think as a hitter, when the conditions are this favorable for hitting, one of the things you have to remember is don't overswing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you can't wait to get in the box probably on a day like today. And here's Seiya Suzuki taking a strike, but don't overdo it.
Yeah, you don't need to swing too hard. I mean, the wind's blowing out at like 20, 25 miles an hour right now, and the ball is just going to jet out of here. So, you don't have to try to hit it 500 feet. 400 works.
The Cubs had a team franchise record of 8. And Seiya already with 24 for the year. 74 driven in. And he takes high for a ball. It's 1-2. saw where Cal Raleigh of Seattle hit his 35th home run before the All-Star break last night.
We still got a week of baseball to go.
It's amazing. Here's the 1-2 from Liberator. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball got him. That's out number 1, and now Pete Crow Armstrong coming up.
And we saw the curveball in that at bat, and then you see the slider down and in. Good location by Liberator to get Suzuki.
Pete put on a big show yesterday. 4 for 4, 2 home runs. Scored 4 times. Lefty to lefty. First pitch outside, ball 1. Pete now with 5 career multi-homer games. 4 of those have come this season. 2 on, 1 away. Cubs trail 2-0. Ball 2 down low. Pete's got the reddish pink shoes flashing today. Would you call that hot pink?
Sure, we could go with that. That's what they look like from here. They got that.
Fastball is high, 3-0. Any doubt he would have a green light here?
I don't know. You know what? I'm looking down at the signs, and nothing stood out to me like you'd say no. But in a day like today, I would want the green light. That's for sure.
Liberator's pitch. Pete taking all the way for ball 4. That pitch missed high and inside. And now let's see if the Cubs can get on the board. Bases loaded, 1 away. They trail 2-0. And Dansby Swanson ready to step in.
Now you can tell both sides, the pitchers are feeling the effects of looking at that center field scoreboard and the flags blowing out, and they just are doing their very best to try to stay out of the middle of the plate. And they're just not throwing enough strikes.
Outfield deep and straight away. Nootbaar in left. Scott in center. Burleson in right. Normally, outfielders get a very good workout on a day like today. Chasing fly balls. Bases loaded, the pitch. Dansby hits a pop-up foul right side and out of play. The ball landed right on the dugout roof. Swanson had a homer yesterday. 2 for 4. He's got 15 home runs for the year.
Great picture I saw today on the Cubs website of the 5 guys that hit home runs yesterday. I have the record.
Dansby checks. Did he go? Yes, he did. He tried to check, but it did look like he swung.
Yep, a little curveball down and in.
And Dansby needs to try to put this ball in play. Happ at third, Tucker at second. Crow Armstrong at first. Great speed on the bases. And now Liberator ready in the 0-2. Swanson takes very high, ball 1.
And now Liberator, his pitch count starting to climb with only 1 out here in this inning. He's at 18 pitches already. You can see his powder blue jersey has already changed color from the heat from sweat.
Dansby swings and misses, strike 3. There have been 5 Cubs batters. Only 1 has put the ball in play. That was Tucker with a single. Happ and Crow Armstrong walk. Suzuki and Swanson have both struck out. So 2 down, bases loaded, and here's a spot for Carson Kelly. I would hesitate to say a potential turning point of the game, but a big spot nonetheless. And Carson takes inside. I say that, Ron, because on a day like today, you might have 15 different at-bats that could potentially be a turning point in a game.
Yeah, today's going to be one of those games with the wind howling out. There's going to, there could be a lot of things happen for sure today.
Carson lays off some high heat. 2-0. Now, this should be a pitch to hit. You wouldn't think Liberatore would want to mess around on 2-0 and nibble.
I would think he's going to throw a breaking ball of some kind, try to throw it for a strike, and not just throw a fastball in the strike zone.
Kelly waiting, the pitch to Carson. Swinging a fly ball to right. Underneath it is Burleson over toward the alley, making the catch. And that ends the inning. So the Cubs had a chance. They let it slip away at the end of 1. Cardinals 2, Cubs nothing. This is
From about 1905 to 1925 or so, teams actually issued cardigans as part of their team uniform. In that era, knitwear was actually having a heyday in sports. Think of ski sweaters or Argyle sweater vests on the Gulf Green. And baseball decided to jump on the bandwagon and create cardigans.
To be in, the middle of New York to display a card like this is really such a big part of the Fanatics mission. We think about how do we create new experiences. Now we get the opportunity to put incredible Holy Grail cards in front of tens of thousands, if not millions.
Procedure. Top ranked in Illinois for obstetrics and gynecology by U.S. News and World Report, the team at Northwestern Maternal Fetal Medicine Clinic treats high-risk pregnancies from across Chicagoland. They performed an unprecedented 5 in utero blood transfusions to ensure Ellen and her baby had a compatible blood type.
Today, my baby is healthy and full of life.
Northwestern Medicine. Better.
Save time every time for a great haircut. Just download the Great Clips app or check in online at greatclips.com. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Top 2 at Wrigley. Cardinals leading the Cubs 2-0. Our second inning is brought to you by Sea Glass Wines, official partner of the Cubs, bringing the California coast to you wherever you are. Pat?
All right, Zach. For the Cardinals here in inning number 2, Pedro Pages will lead things off. He's the Cardinal catcher. Victor Scott the second to bat second, and then Brendan Donovan. Chris Flexen came on in relief in the first. Cubs with a bullpen day today. There'll be several different men on the mound probably for both teams, but certainly for the Cubs. Curveball swing and a miss, 0-1 on Pages. Yesterday, over 40,000 in the house. I would think right in that same neighborhood today. We'll mark our picks in the Benny's Beverage Depot attendance game. If you can't find it at Benny's, it's probably not worth drinking. There's a ball down low.
Yeah, the neighborhood this morning, I got here early, and it was absolutely jam-packed, full of people, and that's at 10 o'clock this morning.
Fly ball to right, pretty well hit. Back goes the right fielder Tucker at the fence, reaches up and makes the catch. Right at the indentation of the wall. Not a routine play. You have to worry about that wall. It's ivy, but right behind it, solid brick. And Tucker gently collided with that wall. I think he's okay, but that was not an easy chance.
No, it's not, and it's right in that area where the wall starts to curve and go deeper down into the corner. So you got to navigate that, but a very nice play by Tuck getting back there early enough to make the catch.
2-0 St. Louis, second inning. Victor Scott the second, swings and misses. Here's the pitch on the way to Victor Scott. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Milwaukee plays later on tonight in Miami. Milwaukee 4 games behind the Cubs. They're the closest pursuer. Cardinals 6.5 back. There's a ball outside. It's 1-2. Milwaukee winning last night. The young phenom Jackson Chourio with an RBI double late in the game to give Milwaukee a 1-run win. Drove in Christian Yelich. And now the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Or did he foul tip it? He foul tipped it, so he's still alive. Didn't see the ball pop free from Kelly's glove, but it did.
Yeah, I think it hit Kelly right in the chest protector and went right down in his feet.
Here comes the 2-2 to Scott. Fastball high. I was reading about the game at Dodger Stadium last night. Did you see that final score? Houston beat the Dodgers 18-1. Worst loss for the Dodgers in the history of Dodger Stadium. Fly ball, center field, playable. For Armstrong looking up into the sun, drifting back and makes the catch. I like the way he did that. He kind of turned the body to the side, essentially turning the body away from the sun, and then drifted back. I like the way he made that play.
Well, you know, I think he's trying to figure out what to do on these sky-high fly balls in the middle of the diamond that go back, you know, and you got to try to, you know, do something different than just stand underneath them, because the ball gets in the sun. You have no recourse other than to just watch the ball hit the ground because you don't see it.
Flexen fires a fastball to Brendan Donovan for a called strike. 2-0 St. Louis, second inning. Here's a swing and a miss, 0-2. Let's see if Flexen can work a 1-2-3 inning. Normally that's not really a big deal, but today it is. The pitch outside for a ball, 1-2. Cubs a perfect 4-0 on the homestand. Sweeping Cleveland and then winning yesterday against the Redbirds. Fastball upstairs, 2-2. Cubs in the process achieving a status of 18 games above 500, a season high. Here's a liner into center, a base hit. 2-out single for Brendan Donovan, and Mason Wynn coming up for the Cardinals.
Donovan been on base now 2 times in a row, first 2 innings. Goes down and gets this off-speed pitch and just hammers it back through the middle. Nice swing by Donovan.
Wynn struck out in the first inning. Very fast shortstop. Pretty good defensive player as well. Fouled off to the right, out of play. A lot of sunscreen being used today.
Boy, you better. Especially out in the bleachers. You're going to be in the sun the whole day today.
We're going to put some sunscreen on here in a minute, and for that reason, we're going to take a station ID.
There you go.
We have to work kind of quickly. It's only a 10-second spot. Now the 0-1 from Flexen to Mason Wynn. Strike call, 10 for ID. This is The Score on the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Cubs Talk with Rahimi and Harris, 10 a.m. to 2 on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network, WSCR Chicago, WBMX HD2 Chicago, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Mason Wynn lines a base hit to left. Stopping at second is Donovan. And now the Cardinals with 2 men on for Wilson Contreras.
Today's one of those days. This is a hanging breaking ball. It's inside, probably right on the corner. Wynn stays back on it pretty well and shoots this ball right over Dansby's head. It's short in the left field for a base knock.
Contreras had a base on balls and scored a run in the first. Right-handed batter, he's always had some pop. Slightly open stance. Solidly built, former catcher. And he'll take high for ball 1.
All reviews in this game are sponsored by Northwestern Medicine. Second opinion's always a good idea. Get yours at Northwestern Medicine.
2 outs, 2 on. The pitch fouled away. Contreras checking the bat to see if he broke it. He thinks he may have busted it, and he's going to request a new one. With a quick check, could you always tell whether or not you harmed the bat in any way?
Yeah, usually you know. Most of the time my bats would break down into my bottom hand, like right in that top of the bottom hand part of the bat, from the torque you put on trying to, generate as much power as you can.
The 1-1 is fouled away. 1-2 now on Contreras. One more game in this series. That's tomorrow, an odd starting time. 5:10 Central Time. Cubs and Cardinals. Matthew Boyd against Eric Fetty. Contreras swings and misses, strike 3. Curveball got him. No runs for St. Louis. It's on to the bottom of inning number 2. Cardinals 2, Cubs nothing. On the Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Cub fans.
Getting traded to Boston from Chicago. You see here the traditional jersey. I love a road jersey because it says where you're from, and this is simple, clean, and cool. And then you see this patch right here. This is from the 2013 postseason run, which was unlike anything I had ever been a part of, to punch through and hoist that trophy. Boston strong forever, baby.
That's my security right there. That's the bad one, Roscoe Pico train.
Major League Baseball wanted to start doing something with the players and their dogs.
Which one's the dog?
I was undecided on whether to do a dog card or not, but my wife pushed me in the back and she wanted a famous dog, so she told me to do it.
Tomorrow, Sunday, July 6th, the Cubs take on the Cardinals at 5:10 in the evening. Up to the first 10,000 early arriving fans 21 and older will receive a Cubs Hawaiian shirt presented by Jim Beam. Be here for it. Purchase tickets at cubs.com/tickets. Pat?
Michael Busch was the main man yesterday. 3 home runs, a career high for him, and what a box score line he had. With at-bats, runs, hits, and RBIs, it read 4-3-4-5.
Say that again. I want to get a good feeling of that.
Here comes the 0-1, driven in the air, deep left center field. It's got a chance. He's done it again. Michael Busch, a home run, and the Cubs get on the board. It's now a 2-1 Cardinal lead. All of a sudden, he's got 18 home runs as they are coming in bunches. And to answer your question, yesterday's box score, 4-3-4-5. And today's is 1-1-1-1.
Across the board, yeah. He's aces. And to the Wrigley Field 40,000, he's aces right now. Because he is on fire right now, Michael Busch. You think he's getting ready to go back home to Minnesota to play in his hometown? Could you be hotter?
Absolutely, he will. That's coming up on Tuesday night in the Twin Cities. Your old stomping grounds also, Ron. Nico Horner takes high, 2-0. For Busch, his 18th. 56 runs batted in for him. For every Cubs home run, it's a hefty home run. Official trash bag of the Chicago Cubs. Hefty. Strength that's anything but ordinary. Nico Hoerner takes ball 3-0.
And the big key of the home run, and you know where I go with some of this, for a guy that's trying to get into the lineup facing left-handed pitching, that ball goes the other way. That means you're staying on all the pitches and you're driving the ball the other way as Nico takes a strike on 3-0. And he pounds that ball to left center field. That just shuts down all the holes that pitchers think they have to get you out left on left when you can do that.
3-1 pulled foul by Nico. It's 3-2. Ron, when you think about Michael Busch's numbers, he's going to be right around 290 after that home run. 18-56. The Cubs have had a lot of good performers, but he's been among the most consistent from day one this year.
Yeah, you've never felt like you got the big swings up and down from him. Just day in and day out. Same thing with his defense.
Nico drives one to right center. This is playable for Scott. And that's going to be out number 1. 2-1 St. Louis, bottom of the second inning, and the batter, Matt Shaw.
Now I'm going to ask Zach real quick because he's the one that told me about this. Bushy earlier today came to the clubhouse. He got a phone call yesterday. Zach, you tell the story.
He got a text message from his brother, something along the lines of, "You must really like America." 4th of July.
3 home runs on 4th of July.
Matt Shaw bounces one to first, fielded by Contreras. Underhand flip to the pitcher, Liberator. Score that one 3-1. 2 down in the inning, and the batter is Ian Happ.
I thought that was pretty funny. Michael is some kind of hot right now. And none of them have been like just wind-aided home runs. I mean, the balls he hit yesterday were blasted. Ooh.
And homering against a lefty for a left-handed batter. That's always a big deal. Swinging a foul back.
Well, it's a huge deal when you're left on left and you're trying to get into the lineup as a young left-handed hitter trying to make the starting lineup against left-handed starters. And that's what we all do as young players. You're trying to figure out a way for you to get more and more playing time. That's all. He's figuring it out.
Happ will take a strike. And sometimes, Ron, it's hard to get the opportunity because you don't get many chances to bat against
There you
lefties.
go. That's exactly right. He's going to get more and more, though. He keeps hitting home runs. I think his manager likes home runs.
It hardly makes him unique among skippers. Here's a swing and a foul back.
What was Earl Weaver's line? I like big guys that hit 3-run homers.
Mm-hmm.
Some other words in there, but we'll just leave them.
Yeah, Earl was a little salty.
Yeah.
2 strikes on Ian Happ. The pitch to Ian is up high for a ball. Yeah, he was a character.
Oh, my, yes.
And now the 1-2 pitch on the way to Ian. And he'll take low and inside, 2-2.
RBIs by Cubs batters. They're sponsored by Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Get old.
Liberator at 36 pitches. I would say the over-under would be about 4 or 5 innings for him today. And now the 2-2. Down low, and it's 3-2.
I just think, you can tell on a day like today, everybody that's pitching is having a hard, they're just so conscious of where they're throwing the ball. They're not throwing a lot of strikes. And you're getting all deep counts of 3-1s, 3-2, 2-2, foul ball. It's just a tough day for the pitchers.
And the 3-2. Check swing, it's low, ball 4. Liberator wanted that pitch. He stared in at John Tumpane.
Tumpane has had a tight strike zone today, but he was right with that call. That pitch is down about a full baseball down low.
Here's Kyle Tucker. 2-1 Cardinals. Tucker had a single his first time. Tucker, I like the way he hangs in there against lefties. And the pitch. Tucker takes outside, but he's been an everyday player for years now, so he's had more and more experience with lefties.
The other thing that he does so well as anybody I've ever seen, to be honest with you, and that's a lot of years in baseball, he does not chase that ball left on left-handed pitcher, away, off the plate away.
There's an example of exactly what you just said. It was a pitch that dropped off the knees outside, taken for a ball, 2-0. What's the key to that, Will?
Just having a great eye and great patience and knowing the strike zone. He takes great pride in that, and usually when he looks back at the umpire like you missed it, they did.
The 2-0 fly ball shallow center, and that's going to be caught by Scott to end the inning. Cubs get on the board, a home run by Michael Busch, his 18th of the year. We go to inning number 3, Cardinals 2, Cubs 1. This is The Score on the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Join us for some Cubs talk every morning. Mully and Haw, mornings 5:30 to
Yeah, mine was a tops now as well. I hit my first walk-off last year against the Mets.
Jacob Young, Nationals win! Now he's got his first walk-off big league hit.
Dad had bought a stack of them, and I was like, I think we can get these ourselves, but he went ahead and bought a stack for himself.
Like business cards. There you go.
But it was awesome just to have that moment and have everyone so excited to have a picture of you is a fun moment.
A snack that Freddie cannot resist.
I would have to say chips and guacamole. Organic mango, yep.
Is that because of the strong Dominican contingent in the major leagues, bro? Has anybody ever struck out and gone crazy and smashed the cooler full of mangoes?
Nah, our team's not really into smashing each other's stuff, I guess.
Are you a seasoning guy? You like to drown your stuff in dips and sauces?
No. Gotta watch my figure.
And it looks great, brother.
I appreciate it.
Very sexy man.
Yeah,
Let's go, Freddie Freeman, ladies and gentlemen.
88 degrees at Wrigley, wind blowing out. Time and temperature sponsored by Circa Sports Illinois. Bet like the pros and download the Circa Sports app today. Pat?
Alec Burleson will take a big swing and foul it at the plate. Left-handed batting right fielder Burleson will be followed by Thomas Sajasi and then Lars Nootbaar. Right-hander Chris Flexen came on in the first inning in relief of starter Drew Pomeranz. One of the 2 runs was unearned on an error by Tucker in right. Swinging a chop foul, 1 ball and 2 strikes. One more game in this series. That'll be tomorrow, late afternoon, 5:10 Central Time. Matthew Boyd against Eric Fedde. Monday is an off day. Swinging a foul at the plate. Cubs will visit the Twin Cities on Tuesday night to start a 3-game series against the Twins. And then finish the pre-All-Star portion of the schedule with 3 against the Yankees in new Yankee Stadium next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've been in that park a few times now. Ron, what do you think of the new Yankee Stadium?
Oh, I think it's a beautiful ballpark.
Ripped on the ground to first. Fielded by Busch. Underhand feed to Flexen. That's out number 1.
I think new Yankee Stadium is a gorgeous facility. I mean, it's got everything you'd ever want. I just miss the old ballpark. There are certain ballparks. The one we're sitting in right now, our home ballpark, is one of them. There's tradition in our game, Wrigley Field, old Yankee Stadium was one, Fenway, Dodger Stadium's another. I miss the old ballpark, that's for sure, but, this new one is, it's an incredible facility.
Thomas Saggese will take a strike.
I do like that they tried the aesthetics of it from sitting where we sit look a lot like the old ballpark. It really does. But so they tried, but
it's a great hitter's park.
Yeah.
The dimensions are very inviting, to say the least, for a guy with power.
I think I felt like this when I walked into Old Yankee Stadium.
Swinging a foul at the plate by Saggese.
Thinking about standing at home plate where Ruth and Mantle and Gehrig there was something to that I just it was just something that you just shake your head and it was just unique, right? It's just one of those places.
Now the 0-2 to Saggese. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball got him. Strikeout number 2 for Chris Flexen. 2 down in the inning. Cardinals on top 2-1, and the batter is Lars Nootbaar. I remember my first experience at New Yankee Stadium. It was not the most favorable experience, Ron.
Okay.
Rather humorous now that I look back at it.
Uh-oh.
But it was a game in April, and a game got rained out from the night before, and then it snowed before the scheduled game the next day. So when I arrived there, it's going to be a day-night doubleheader. I get there about 11 in the morning. And there are guys with these leaf blowers blowing the snow off the field, and I was in the third base dugout right into my face, getting hit by chips of ice in my face, and that was my first impression of New Yankee Stadium. I thought,
New York.
Gee, I really like it here.
Nothing says great baseball in Yankee Stadium like ice getting blown in your face.
Forehead, cheeks, all over.
Yeah.
And what really kind of perturbed me was, I'm pretty sure the guy using the leaf blower, he saw them hitting me.
And didn't change it off.
He actually was enjoying it.
Yeah. Zach's hometown. I don't know what to tell you.
Here's the 1-2.
You know what they say? Forget about it.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Yeah, that hasn't worked.
That's going to be a hard one to forget about.
That hasn't worked. That was in the 80s, and we're still talking about it at 25.
Now the 2-2 on the way to Nootbaar. Popped up foul down the left field line. Racing over and making a very nice catch is Matt Shaw. He had to slow down. He was approaching that side wall, and he made an excellent play with coordination and gently hit the wall. Can't make the play any better than he just did.
No, great play and great effort by Matty Shaw.
Enjoying summer with time-saving haircuts at Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Hefty Trash Bags, the official trash bags of the Chicago Cubs. Hefty, ultra-strong trash bags resist rips, tears, and leaks. Strength that's anything but ordinary.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Nick Hepner is our engineer at the controls today. Nice to be working with Nick. Seiya Suzuki will lead off the bottom of this third. Zach Zaidman will be along in the fifth inning to work with Ron, and he'll update the out-of-down scoreboard every now and again.
Nick said in between innings he'd like some of the ice chips you were getting it with then.
He's more than welcome to have them.
They're a little more appealing today in 95-degree heat than a cold, snowy day in New York.
Then that would be an easy bet right there. 3-0 on Seiya Suzuki. Let's see if he has the green light. He does, and he lines one down the left field line. Foul. No surprise to have the green light today, Ron.
No, not at all. And I love that Suzuki was on that first pitch, that high heater. First pitch for a strike, and he whistles. It just missed the foul line, and one hopped into the stands foul.
Missed the foul line by about 2.5 feet. Seiya homered yesterday, his 24th. He lines one foul over the Cubs dugout. So glad they put the netting in to keep fans and ball players safe. Now that line drive right there, that would have done some damage.
Yeah, you just, at least now the fans that are close to home plate are protected.
Swing and a miss, and Suzuki is out on strikes. One away. Strikeout number 3 for Matthew Liberatore. Cardinals lead 2-1, and the batter Pete Crow Armstrong.
That's a frustrating at bat for Suzuki, I know. You know, you get a couple, you get ahead in the count 3-0, you get a good pitch to hit on 3-0, and you smoke one, and you just hook it foul. Then you do the same thing again on 3-1, hook one foul, and you square it right up. And then the guy makes a great pitch on 3-2, and you swing over the top of a very good slider.
Pete Crow Armstrong had a base on balls in the first. Lefty to lefty. And Pete takes up and in a fastball, 1-1. That's another area where Pete has seemed to improve, Ron, and I'm talking about hitting against left-handed pitching. Here comes the 1-1, and he'll check his swing and take outside the count 2-1.
I think recently he went through a little stretch where the league, they just weren't throwing him strikes, and he was getting himself out, and he was, he's just over aggressive and swinging early in the count and not swinging at strikes. And here over the last few days, we've seen him make that change and just taking more pitches.
Ball 3 down low. Let's see if he gets something to hammer here. Game number 6 this year between the Cubs and Cardinals. Cubs have won 3 of the 5. A drive toward right center. On the run is Scott, and he'll make the catch. And that's out number 2. Might have got it a little bit in on the hands.
Yeah, fastball inside. He'd seen everything away from him in that at bat until the last 3-0 pitch, and then Liberatore made a good pitch, a little two-seam fastball running in, and that was probably borderline strike, and it did jam Pete just a little bit.
Here's Dansby Swanson. Dansby struck out his first time, and he lines a base hit to left. Dansby a 2-out single, and the batter Carson Kelly. Just looking at thinking of Dansby homering yesterday as part of the Cubs franchise record 8. The Major League record for home runs in one game by a team, 10. The Toronto Blue Jays against Baltimore back in September of 1987. Ernie Witt, the catcher, had 3. Rance Mullenix and George Bell had 2 each. Kelly takes down low, and then Lloyd Mosby, Rob Ducey, and Fred McGriff.
Wow.
All homered for Toronto. How about 10? That's more than 1 per inning.
Right. And they had what a lineup. And you think Jesse Barfield was in right for that team. I mean, they talk about a good lineup.
Grounded to short, fielded by Wynn, flips to second. There's the force. That's the inning. Cubs don't score. It's on to inning number 4. Cardinals 2, Cubs 1 on the score and the Southwest Airlines.
If you were to find a jersey or if you swap a jersey, one of the players on the National League, who would it be? Who would you pick?
Okay, so I got an Ohtani jersey last year, so
Nice.
I'm gonna probably say Harper.
Maybe Judge. He's one of the greatest to play the game in the last 5, 6, 7 years, so it'd be cool to have his jersey. Ellie's been fun to watch. Yeah, Ellie'd be a cool one. I mean, his jersey would probably be too big for me. It'd probably go down to my knees.
Liberator worked out of a first inning jam. The Cubs had the bases loaded with only one away and did not score. Nico lines it foul down the right field line, 2-2. And let's see if this double by Busch to lead off this 4th inning sparks a rally. Two and two on Horner, Shaw on deck.
That's one of them situations for Nico. His best power stroke is that breaking ball down and in from a lefty.
Chopper foul. Got a little bit fooled, did not take one of his better cuts, but it was a good enough cut to spoil the pitch and stay alive. Nico hitting .280. And he'll line it foul past first. I like the way he sprays the ball around, Rob.
Yep, he really does. He gets something hard inside. He shoots it the other way because his hands stay inside the ball. He gets that breaking ball, the slower breaking ball. He'll go out and hook that ball.
And the 2-2. Ball 3, low and in.
I like the shoes yesterday and today also. Look at that. A red one and a blue shoe.
I bet he has another pair just like it at home.
Ho!
And now the 3-2 on the way. Check swing, it's ball 4. Pretty good plate appearance by Nico. I thought that Liberator made some pretty good pitches. But Nico laid off, and now 2 men on, nobody out. You don't see a lot of sacrifice bunts in conditions like this, but the Cardinals are anticipating a bunt. Let me ask you this. Are you?
Well, it could be one of those games. Shaw's only hitting .212, so we'll see what happens. He may be bunting.
He did not indicate, but the ball gets away, and the runners go to second and third.
It's not now.
Hayes had the ball bounce away to his right, maybe 20 feet. And each runner moves up, so no need to worry about the bunt now.
Great read by Michael Busch right away. He took off, and then that allows Nico to go too, and then the ball kept trickling away from Paez. Great read by Busch at second.
This crowd wants to see a rally, as Shaw will take a strike. Second and third, nobody out. Infield is back. That's another thing you don't see on days like today. You don't see many infield in strategies. The tall lefty is ready and deals. Fouled away by Shaw. Shaw's made a couple of nice defensive plays today.
Well, yeah, great play last inning going to his left. I would think now he's going to see some pitches boring in on him. That slider and the cutter inside, and even the curveball inside. They're going to try to get him to hook this ground ball at third.
Here's the 1-2, line foul down the right field line.
He had a chance to shoot that one the other way. That was a curveball, but they wanted it down and in, and Liberator left it out away. And Shaw just shot it foul.
Now the sun shining very brightly at Wrigley. The pitch, very high, ball 3. No activity in the Cardinal bullpen, but there might be soon. Liberator at 71 pitches. You can add about 10% to that because of the heat and the humidity.
And that last pitch was just being hot, tired, and a misfire.
Curveball bounced to third, and coming to the plate and out at the plate is Busch. The throw by Sajasi to the catcher Pages, and Busch tried to slide to the inside of the home plate area, but
well, what Michael Busch is trying to do is get in the throwing lane of the third baseman. It has nothing to do really with Pages, even though I know the catcher didn't like getting slid into. But what you're trying to do is run inside and eliminate the throwing lane so you get him to throw to first. They did not do that, and it was actually a nice play by the third baseman to throw home and get the out.
Now Ian Happ batting. On the play, Horner held at second. Busch out at the plate, score at 5-2. And safe at first on the fielder's choice, Shaw. So first and second, one away, 3-1 Cardinals. Ian Happ waiting and taking outside. Happ today has drawn 2 walks. He's got the power to give the Cubs the lead with 1 swing. And he takes a strike. 1-2, curveball dropped in.
Yeah, that was a good pitch to hit. I think Ian was looking for something else, and he just got the big looping hook right in the middle of the plate.
Ian Happ trying to come through. 2 men on. 1 away. The runners go. The pitch low. Double steal. Double steal. Shaw swiping, or rather Horner swiping third and Shaw swiping second. And now 2 men in scoring position. 2-2 on Ian Happ.
Well, it's a great job by the Cubs, by Nico and by Shaw, picking the pitch, kind of knowing what Liberatore's kind of sequences are, and they picked a good curveball to go on.
Here's the pitch. Bounces slowly past the mound. A run was scored. The throw to first in time. Scoring on the play is Horner. Advancing to third is Shaw. Happ did not hit it hard, but gets the RBI on the 5-3 put out at first. And now it's a 3-2 Cardinal lead. And the tying run 90 feet away for Kyle Tucker.
On the stolen base is a big play now because that ends up giving the Cubs another run. And now you got Tuck at the plate with a man at third.
And he'll take a curve for a strike. Tucker a single and a fly out to center. Shaw leading in foul territory at third. Cubs trail by a run. Lefty to lefty, the 0-1. Outside for a ball. Liberatore now at 80 pitches for the day. Tucker has singled and flied to center. The pitch. It's high, 2-1. Tucker really makes that guy on the mound work, doesn't he?
He just never, you never see him chasing pitches out of the zone. Very rarely does he swing in a ball that isn't a strike. I would think he's going to get some kind of breaking ball here. See if he gets that same curveball that started the at-bat.
It's outside, Ron. 3-1.
Cutter, slider.
What's the approach here?
I think I would expect the same pitch. I don't think he's going to get, a fastball. The one fastball he did throw on 3-1 was to Armstrong inside, to Peter Armstrong.
Here's the pitch. Check swing. It's taken for a strike. And now it's 3-2. That just did land in the zone.
Another
near
cutter.
the knees.
Yep, another breaking ball.
Pretty good pitch. Liberatore from the stretch. Delivers. Ground ball to third. Fielded by Sajasi. And he throws to first in time to end the inning. The Cubs scratch out a run on one hit, leave one.
25.
Surround yourself in color with Regal Select from Benjamin Moore. Rich, durable, and effortlessly beautiful. Find yours at your locally owned retailer. Visit BenjaminMoore.com today.
Getting set for the top half of the fifth inning here at Wrigley Field. One-run game, St. Louis with a 3-2 lead over the Cubs. It's the middle game of a three-game set between these two rivals. Cubs have a new man on the mound. Right-handed reliever Ryan Brazier takes over. First batter he'll face here in the fifth is Mason Wynn, right-handed hitter. Brazier kicks and delivers, and Wynn looks at a ball outside, 1-0. Wynn is 1 for 2 on the day. With a single in the second inning. Struck out swinging in the first. Brazier peers in, gets the sign from Kelly. Now works his motion and deals. And a high fly ball hit to shallow right, angling in toward the line. Tucker fighting the sun, makes the catch. One away. The first out is brought to you by Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming. 3-2 St. Louis here with one down in the top of the fifth. Pitching changes by the Cubs are sponsored by James Hardy Building Products, siding with the Cubs. Brazier is the third pitcher of the afternoon in this bullpen game for the Cubs. Wilson Contreras at the plate, right-handed batter. Brazier deals. And Contreras looks at a ball low and inside, 1-0, a sinking fastball that missed. Contreras 0 for 1 with a strikeout, a walk, and a run scored. Upright stance from the right side. The pitch, a swing and a miss. 1-1 the count. Drew Pomerantz was the opener, went a third of an inning, giving up 2 runs on 1 hit. The first 2 runs he's allowed all year. Here's the pitch. Line drive to right. It'll drop in front of Tucker for a base hit. 1 out single the other way for Wilson Contreras. Here in the fifth, Cardinals with a 3-2 lead over the Cubs. And here comes the St. Louis cleanup man, Alec Burleson, who's 1 for 2 with a single and a ground out.
Burleson, one of those guys, very good hitter, does a lot of good things, uses the whole field.
And the pitch, Burleson pulls one, fair ball down the right field line, takes an awkward bounce off the sidewall. Contreras on his way to third. The throw goes into second, where it's cut off by Dansby Swanson. And the Cardinals mounting something here in the top half of the fifth inning. Back-to-back singles by Contreras and Burleson. And now the Cardinals have men at the corners with 1 away.
A little high and tight cutter, and Burleson, as we just talked about, he keeps his ball fair. Cubs catch a break. This ball hits the sidewall where it still goes out, and the carom goes right to Tucker in right field instead of, if it goes about 3 more feet farther down the line, it's going to go all the way in the corner and drive in a run.
Thomas Saggese at the plate. First pitch swinging. A bouncing ball hit to second, fielded by Horner. Steps on the bag. There's 1. The throw to first. There's 2. And Brazier works out of the jam. Double play. Double plays turned by the Cubs deep.
What is something that you snack on that you don't worry about?
I love Uncrustables. I could eat like 10 of them in one sitting.
And no regard for his body? I don't even wait till I thaw out.
Hey, put them in a toaster next time. Just toast it, yep. It'll change your life.
Yeah, just an incredible play by Riley Green.
You are an all-star on the field and off, bro.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
thank you.
Riley Green, bro, food genius.
Hank Greenberg helped popularize the first baseman's mitt, holding a massive 13-inch pocketed glove. That was quickly banned, reducing the maximum size to 12 inches. Paul Richards also developed a black hole-sized catcher's mitt. This ginormous thing, measuring 42 inches in circumference, was known as Big Bertha, or the elephant, for its massive size. It was swiftly outlawed as well.
Fans know a steal when they see one, like tuxedos and suits from Suits 2020 at Niles. Why rent when you can own one for about the same price? Schedule your free fitting at Suits2020.com.
Bottom of the fifth inning, St. Louis a 3-2 lead over the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki at the plate. Matthew Liberatore deals, and Seiya hits a pop fly along the right field line. It's shallow, and it bangs off the top of the sidewall right behind the tarp on the right side for a strike, 0-1.
That's one of those things where I think players don't play here regularly, and Contreras played here regularly, but he was catching. When the ball goes down the line on either way with the wind blowing out, the wind blows the ball back into the field of play, and it did there.
Here's the 0-1 to Seiya. Suzuki swings and misses out in front of a change, 0-2. Liberatore, the left-hander, faces home plate. He whirls and deals. The 0-2 just outside to Seiya. Missed with a slider, 1-2. League leaders are sponsored by American Sail. Bring the fun home. Aaron Judge leading the majors in batting average, 365. Cal Raleigh with 35 home runs as that pitch goes up high, 2-2 now with Suzuki at the plate. Raleigh and Suzuki are tied for the RBI lead in the majors with 74. Now the 2-2. Suzuki pops it foul out of play off to the right. Count remains 2-2 here on Seiya. The Cubs designated hitter, and designated hitters for the Cubs are sponsored by BBQ Authority. Visit BBQ Authority in line. Liberatore deals, and Seiya swings and hits one in the air, left center field, and this one is caught by the center fielder Scott, angling behind the left fielder Nootbaar. A snow cone catch about waist high. Little miscommunication out there in the outfield, but Seiya is retired, one away.
I definitely think Scott thought Nootbaar was going to catch this ball, and then right at the last second they crisscross, and Scott sticks the glove out and kind of catches it right off the end of his glove, a little snow cone, but he made the catch.
Boy, I could use a snow cone here today. Carl Armstrong looks at a slow-moving breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. They say it was 85 degrees at first pitch here at Wrigley Field today, but man, it feels hotter than that.
They weren't standing on a field, I can promise you that.
Carl Armstrong swings and misses at a slider, 0-2. And it is a windy day, gusting up to 20 miles per hour, but it's blowing out at this moment toward left. Liberatore deals, and Carl Armstrong swings and misses. Ball in the dirt, scooped up by Pages. His throw to first in time to get PCA 2 away.
Pretty good pitch. One thing, Liberatore's had a good breaking ball, and he's had one for a while now. I mean, it's always a good hook, but I mean, the command of it and the effectiveness of his breaking pitches, whether it be curveball, slider, or cutter. He's had some great outings with that breaking pitch, and today another one. Cubs with only 4 hits so far on a day where it's a really good day to hit.
Dansby Swanson looks at a changeup off the outside, 1-0. Michael Busch with a solo home run for the Cubs. His 4th in the last 2 days. Here's the 1-0. A bouncing ball hit on the right side, fielded wide of first by Contreras. Underhand toss to Liberatore, covering the bag in time to get Swanson. Cubs go down in order here in the 5th. After 5, it's the Cardinals 3 and the Cubs 2.
You know, in Boston, every now and then, you'll do those throwback days where you bring out the big baggy jerseys, and the baggier, the better. When I broke into the league, everybody was wearing really baggy pants. And then as the years go along, I started wearing these skinny, mini, tight pants that looked like they were painted on. So by the time I was with Boston, I really wanted to wear the baggier, the better. We just wanted to be flying around in the outfield there, having a good time.
For industrial, commercial, and educational clients throughout Illinois. Based in Wheeling with over 30 years of experience, they provide asphalt paving, seal coating, concrete repair, and non-toxic solutions to protect and enhance your surfaces. Call 847-813-9034 or visit patriotpavement.net for a proposal. Patriot Pavement Maintenance. Pavement maintenance and construction made simple. patriotpavement.net.
Advanced Hair Restoration. Chicago's simple one-day hair loss solution that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. AdvancedHair.com.
We are coming to you live all season long from the Invesco QQQ broadcast booth. Proud ETF partner of the Chicago Cubs. Alongside Ron Coomer, Zach Zaidman with you. Top half of the sixth inning here at Wrigley Field. Game 2 of a 3-game set between the Cubs and Cardinals. St. Louis with a 3-2 lead. Cubs have a new pitcher on the mound. Left-hander Caleb Thielbar now dealing. He's 2-2 this season with a 1.95 ERA in 37 games. Lars Nootbaar, left-handed hitter at the plate. So a lefty-lefty matchup, and the pitch in there for strike 0-1 as Thielbar starts off Nootbaar with a slider. Thielbar delivers the next pitch. That's off the outside. 1-1 the count, missed with a curve. On Friday, July 18th, the Cubs take on the Red Sox at 1:20 in the afternoon. Up to the first 5,000 early arriving fans 21 and older in the Budweiser bleachers receive a Cubs vintage tank top presented by Budweiser. Be here for it. Thielbar misses with a slider away. It's now 2-1 on Nootbaar. He's 0 for 2 today. Here comes the 2-1. And Nootbaar hits a fly ball, deep center, but playable for Crow Armstrong, who makes a running catch, angling toward right center for out number 1. The first out is brought to you by Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the score on the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Talk Cubs with us on Spiegel and Holmes, 2 to 6 afternoons on the score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network, WSCR Chicago, WBMX HD2 Chicago, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Nolan Gorman at the plate for St. Louis. Thielbar delivers, and the pitch off the outside for ball 1, missed with a fastball. Top 6, 1 down, St. Louis 3, Cubs 2. Thielbar works on the third base side of the rubber. And here comes the 1-0. Called strike on the outside corner. As a hitter, Coom, when you were facing a team, and this probably didn't happen much in your career unless there was some sort of injury early on to the starter, the 1-1 is low, 2-1 the count. But I have to imagine there's some sort of challenge when every time you're up, you're facing a different pitcher in these kind of bullpen games.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's definitely different, and, you know, you're constantly getting scouting reports, especially if you don't know the team. One thing about these two teams, they get a pretty good idea of what they're facing and who they're facing. And
a 3-1, Gorman swings, pops it foul out of play, second deck, just to the left of us. I'm assuming, based on the reaction, someone made a nice catch in the stands. 3-2 the count on Gorman.
But I think you definitely, you know, unless the guy is like, you know, one of the great Cy Young type guys in the game.
This one's popped up on the infield. Thielbar is under it, now being called off by Busch, who is running down the first base line on the grass to make the catch just right of the mound. 2 away.
Good play, Bushy. Keep the pitcher on the dirt. There you go. But yeah, you know, for me, I liked seeing the guy second and third time. You know, and in the, you know, on a bullpen game today, it's a little difficult.
Pedro Paez at the plate. Looks at a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. He's a right-handed batter facing the left-hander Thielbar.
The issue, though, like for the Cubs today with a bullpen game, is if any one of the bullpen arms has a tough day, it makes it really tough to win a ball game.
Another breaking ball for a strike to Pages, 0-2. It wasn't ideal, but with the injury to Jamison Tyone, this was the Cubs' best plan of attack here today.
Yeah, the thing I like about it is they had a plan. There was they had things in motion as that pitch is in the dirt. But, they got flexed and stretched out in his last couple outings. The last outing he threw before this one, he got an outing of 4 full innings. So that was really good. And so now he's stretched out. So you had a pretty good plan of attack today.
Pages swings and misses at a curveball, strike 3, and Fieldbar gets the Cardinals to go down in order here in the top half of the 6th. Middle 6, Cardinals 3, Cubs. Carson Kelly is on deck for the Cubs. Who's on deck is brought to you by TimberTech Decking and Railing. Everything wood should be. Visit timbertech.com. Getting set for the last of the 6th here at Wrigley Field. Cardinals 3, Cubs 2. New man on the mound for St. Louis in right-hander Kyle Leahy. And we are joined by a very special guest whom in the booth at the moment. The legendary Hall of Fame pitcher, Ferguson Jenkins, is with us. Hi, Fergie.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Better if we launch a couple into the seats, Fergie.
Yeah, we need some runs. I'm watching the first inning.
Now I know
people walk. I said, "Oh, we're in trouble."
Right? You were here yesterday. I know.
Oh,
they had you on a video board, and you got to see history for the Cubs. And you were here for a long time.
Yeah, we
8 home runs in this ball game in yesterday's game for the Cubs. How about that?
We had a similar game, but we only had 6. That were against Pittsburgh. 18-1 or 22-1 or something. Hickman hit 1, Billy, Ernie, Ronnie, But that was a fun day.
Yeah.
Crowd loved it. The crowd loved it.
And they were loving it yesterday, too. Absolutely.
Here's the 0-2 to Kelly. That's slow. 1-2 the count.
How are you doing these days? What are you up to this summer? I know I get to see you in the winter, but I don't get to see all that much in the summer.
I visited a few ball clubs, the Phillies, Cincinnati here. I'm just staying home, relaxing.
Kelly swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep center field. Scott going back at the track. It bangs off the wall and gets stuck in the ivy for a ground rule double. So a nice start to the 6th inning for the Cubs. Carson Kelly at second base.
It's like Jose Cardinal. He'd run back there, and he'd throw his arms up like that. I can't find the ball.
I know C.
Right. Yeah, Junior was incredible.
Wasn't he the best? I'll never forget as a kid, and he'd go walking to home plate as slow could be. Steal second, steal third after walk.
That's it. You're right. Yeah, Junior was incredible.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorites.
All right, so the tying run for the Cubs at second. No one out. Red hot Michael Busch at the plate. Line drive. Base hit to left. Kelly will stop at third, and the Cubs in business here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Men at the corners. No one out.
That's the way you treat a relief pitcher.
Right. Come in and whack.
And just let them know you're ready. That's it.
Michael Busch yesterday with 3 home runs in the ball game. Now today he's homered, doubled, and single.
Yeah.
I guess the cycle's about the best you can do after a three home run game.
Biggest thing is you got to get that batting average all in points up.
Woo!
Getting that many hits.
Isn't that the truth? I got a question for you. Seeing a day like yesterday and today, you pitched many, many games here at Wrigley with the wind blowing out with incredible success. mental game plan going into a game like today?
Well, the first thing you do is you turn around Irving Park in your vehicle. You see the flag blowing out.
Yeah.
You know, I got to be real careful with pitches.
Uh-oh.
I got to be real careful.
I know when I would come to the ballpark here, playing here, I would come down Sheffield, and I'd look right at that flag, boy, and I'd see it. I'd like, oh, today's going to be a good day.
Nico Horner at the plate, and he looks at a slider for a strike 0-1.
But did you have a game plan of how you wanted to pitch?
I try to pitch everybody down and away.
That's why he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, try to keep it in the park.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's the 0-1. Nico swings and pops it foul out of play off to the right.
Anything up is going to travel a long way, and that wind is going to help you for sure.
Now, the one thing back in the day is you were a good hitter. I know that. So,
that too, yeah.
So
I enjoyed
hitting
that.
ninth wasn't necessarily an automatic out.
No, I like coming to the plate and trying to contribute.
Yep. How many home runs did you hit?
13.
I knew you knew that. I knew you knew that.
I had 8 here.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2 to Horner. Line drive, foul off to the right. Yeah. Wilson Contreras made a leaping try, and that one just foul behind the bag off to the right. 0-2.
Now for the first baseman, Wilson comes off the bag, not much, and this ball sizzles right past him. And now Craig Counsell wondering if, because you can't review, this is a non-reviewable, and I think he's going to ask if Contreras hit this ball with the glove and then the ball went foul. So that's all he's asking. I believe that's what he's asking. Counts got an answer that was acceptable, or else you'd still see him jawing with first base umpire Todd Tishner.
Yeah, he wouldn't be calmly walking back to the Cubs' third base dugout. All right, 0-2 the count. Cubs have men at the corners, no one out, down by 1 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Horner waits. Leahy sets up high. A long set. And now the pitch. In the dirt, bounces to the left of the catcher, Pages. Advancing the second on the wild pitch is Busch. And staying at third, Kelly.
Fergie, on days like today, I know as a defensive player, the last thing you wanted to do is make a mistake to give a guy either an extra 90 feet or just get him on base. As a pitcher, walks, they're just killers on days.
Yeah, walks can hurt you, especially the opening hitter of the inning.
Yeah.
And then a ball in the dirt where the catcher can't handle it.
Nico
and the advancement to one base to another base. And I mean, that always, but Randy Hundley was the kind of catcher, he'd block those balls.
Yep.
And I had Plummer here. I had a few guys, Bill Heath. Mm-hmm. They could block those balls down. They wanted you to throw breaking balls because they would block it for you.
Here's the 1-2. Up high to Nico. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Changes the whole program when you have that kind of confidence in your catcher.
Oh,
right?
totally. I wasn't afraid to throw any kind of breaking ball. Curveball or slider, down and in, down away.
In the biggest of moments. 2-2 the count. Nico waits. Men at second and third. The pitch. Nico swings and fouls it off the netting to the right. Count remains 2-2.
Go inside to Nico on that fastball in. He just kind of inside outs this ball, got jammed and just hit it over the Cardinal dugout. Needs to put this ball in play. You got second and third. Nobody out here in the inning. Cubs down by a run. You got to put this ball in play. It'll be a run.
Here's the pitch. Nico swings and loops one into shallow left center field. It drops in for a base hit. Tie ball game. Kelly scores. RBI single. Nico Horner. 3-3 Cubs and Cardinals here in the 6th. Moving to third on the play, Busch.
A back-to-back fastballs inside, and that's actually a slider, a backup slider. It stays in, and Nico just inside outs this ball and just dumps it over to shortstop Wynn's head. And, everybody had to hold on the bases to see if it was going to land or be caught. Scott comes in hard, cannot make the catch, and Nico ties the ball game with a base hit.
RBIs by Cubs batters, sponsored by Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Get old. Still no one out. 3-3 game. The pitch to Matt Shaw is a big swing and a miss at a 96-mile-per-hour fastball, 0-1.
Fergie, I know you watch the Cubs a lot and, keep up with them. This is an exciting team right now.
It is. They're scoring lots of runs.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important, especially for the pitchers.
Shaw swings and pops it foul out of play off to the right, 0-2.
You didn't mind your boys having a night like yesterday, did you? When you were out on the ball?
When you get 7 or 8 runs, You know, you got to attack the hitter after that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a comfort zone that you get in.
0-2 the count. Met at the corners. The pitch inside to Shaw. 1-2. A slow-moving breaking ball.
One of the all-time great speeches I ever heard in a spring training from a player to the current players, from an ex-player to a current player, was Fergie's speech. This has to be, 9-10 years ago.
At least.
Right? And he spoke to the pitchers and the entire organization. And before Fergie spoke to the whole group of pitchers in the organization, they started reading off Fergie's numbers.
Oh, wow.
And I knew what was going to happen before.
Inside this one, off the glove of the catcher, Pages, coming in to score, Busch. Cubs take the lead. 4-3 over the Cardinals here in the sixth. Advancing to second, Nico.
And this is one of those pitches, the catcher behind home plate, Pages, he's moving a little on the slow side, and it's just one of them days, man. It's extremely hot. This pitch is up and in to Shaw, and he just doesn't get the glove there, and it goes to the backstop.
So the Cubs take the lead on a wild pitch. Now the pitch to Shaw. Bouncing ball hit to short, fielded on a high hop by Wynn. His throw across in time to get Shaw. Nico stays at second, one away.
Cubs at a 2 spot already in this inning. One out and a man in scoring position, but I recall them talking about season after season of you not with 200 innings, but 300 innings in one season.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. We only had 4 starters.
Yeah.
Kenny, myself, Bill Hansen, Rich Nye, and every 4th day we pitched. And we have a lot of complete ball games and pile up a lot of innings.
Cardinals out hitting the Cubs 8-7, but the Cubs lead 4-3. Fastball is high from Matz.
Let's see what's on tap here. Sponsored by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. And the Cubs could use a few flights like they had yesterday. They had 8 of them yesterday. Balls in flight out of the park.
Deep fly ball to the left. It's got a chance. Gone.
Speaking of Flight by Yuengling, that's right on time for a home run.
Carson Kelly with his 11th of the year, the former Cardinal. And the Cubs have an insurance run. It's now 5-3.
Now, when the Hall of Famer asks for an insurance run, you got to produce, right? And I'm telling you, he gets a breaking ball, and he hammers this ball into the well and up over everything for a big, big run here in the 7th by Kelly.
His 11th, his 31st RBI. Cubs with a little bit of breathing room. They'd like a little bit more. It's 5-3.
Kelly's homered in back-to-back games now.
Busch takes a fastball strike. Home plate umpire John Tumpane sweating profusely. His powder blue shirt has turned a darker shade of blue. And now the next offering, strike 3 call. Busch finally retired. He had been 7 for 7 in the 2 games before striking out here.
Yeah. RBIs by Cubs batters are sponsored by Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Get old. And we're coming to you live all season long from the Invesco QQQ broadcast booth, proud ETF partner of the Chicago Cubs.
Nico had a clutch run-scoring single in that 6th inning. Drove in the tying run. And he'll take one just outside. Now, Nico, if he gets on here, you don't see a lot of stolen bases on days like today, but this might be a case where he would try to steal a bag.
I would agree with that.
Low and inside, and the count 2-1. You don't see much running because it's relatively easy to score without running.
Yeah, well, and you don't want to make outs on the bases.
Right.
With a guy, anybody at home plate can reach the seats.
Popped up foul, playable for Contreras near first, and he makes the catch to end the inning. But the Cubs get a run on the home run by Kelly. We go to the 8th inning. Cubs 5, Cardinals 3. This is The Score on the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Hey Cubs fans, it's Matthew Boyd. Listen to every game here on the Chicago Cubs Radio Network.
Oppo Taco.
I'm going to guess it's an opposite field, upper deck, maybe something like a...
Yeah, home run to the opposite field.
Yeah.
You got it.
This is a good one, a hack.
I don't know. I mean, is it the same as like the layman's term hack, like a bad chef?
You've guessed correctly.
Okay.
Someone's a hack, someone that's just nailing it in.
Yeah.
They're not putting their heart into it.
Cubs top of the 8th inning here on a gorgeous day here at Wrigley Field. This 8th inning is sponsored by Cars for Kids. 877 Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today. Patrick?
Wilson Contreras, the former Cub, to face the big right-hander, Brad Keller. Cubs lead by 2. Here's a dribbler toward third. This is going to be a foul ball. Neither umpire really called it. Or did the home plate umpire call it foul?
Yeah, John Tumpain.
Didn't see him.
He got right on the line and called it foul. The thing I was looking at is the third base umpire, and it's not his call. Gene James, the third base umpire, it's not his call, and I know you know this, Pat, and both of us have done some umpiring when we were young. Until that ball passes the third base bag, then it's the third base umpire's call.
Right, that's right.
But John Tumpain right down on one knee at the line to see and call that ball foul.
Contreras hits a high fly ball, should be playable for Crow Armstrong. Shallow center, out number 1. I'm a little confused about the name of James Jean, the third base umpire. I've heard him called Gene James. I'm going to go with James Jean.
Okay.
That's the way it's listed on the...
How about JJ?
Now you're talking. Alec Burleson will take a strike, 0-1. Sounds a lot like the old actor, James Dean.
Yeah.
Little tap foul at the plate by Alec Burleson. A little bit before our time, James Dean. Rebel without a cause. Now the pitch to Burleson. It's taken high for a ball.
Double plays in this game are sponsored by Nissan. Experience the thrill at nissanusa.com.
Fastball away to Burleson. Burleson today 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. Here comes the 2-2 from Brad Keller. Fly ball, center field, deep. Back goes Crow Armstrong near the wall. That's a home run. Long gone for Burleson. And the Cub lead is cut in half. It's now 5-4. Dead center. It just had that sound. You knew it would be trouble. And it sailed on out of here just to the left of straightaway. Burleson with his 11th of the year, and it's a 1-run game.
Now, high fastball from Keller. This has got, great velocity, but if as a hitter you get on top of that ball and get your hands up, drive through it, and you hit it to the middle of the diamond, it's going to go a long way, and that one did.
Thomas Saggese batting, takes a strike.
Hardest working player of the game. How about the guys that have caught today behind home plate?
They've worked hard.
Ooh, man.
Curveball in the dirt, 1-1.
You can throw John Tumpain right in that group. I know he's not playing, but he's involved in the game, and these are very tough games for all those guys back behind the dish.
The 1-1 is in there for a strike. 7th inning stretch coming up very, very soon. With one away here in the top of this 7th inning. Actually, top of the 8th inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Little pop fly might be a tough play. That's going to fall in there for a base hit. And it's a 1-out single for Saggese. So in the 8th inning, the Cardinals now have the tying run on base with one away. The ball was not hit hard, just a little parachute that fell into shallow right.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat, little base hit. But 7th inning stretch was sponsored by Volvo XC90, designed for life.
And here is Lars Nootbaar. Nootbaar 0 for 3. And he'll take outside, ball 1. Swanson deployed almost directly behind second base. Quick throw to first, diving back in is Saggese.
Pitching changes by the Cubs. They're sponsored by James Hardy Building Products, siding with the Cubs.
Saggese in 22 games has not attempted a stolen base this season. Here's a bunt back toward the mound, and it's going to be fielded by no one. A bunt single for Lars Nootbaar. I think it surprised everyone. It surprised Kelly, the catcher, and the pitcher, Keller. They both went after the ball, but then they both shied away at the last second, thinking the other man was going to make the play.
Yeah, I think, for this play, Keller is probably the best guy to get a chance to do it. But what I would guess happened is Keller comes in and is about to field this ball, and then Kelly calls it. And then they both, instead of one guy going after it, they both shy away and they kind of collide. So it'll be a bunt single for Nootbaar.
Almost looked like Nootbaar was bunting for a base hit instead of sacrificing.
No, he was bunting for a base hit because what he was trying to do is bunt this ball towards third base with Shaw playing way over in the hole just to get another runner on. I'm just kind of surprised. Nootbaar, a pretty veteran player. On a day like today, you've got the tying run on the base, and you're the go-ahead run on a day with the wind blowing out. I'm just surprised he bunted.
It is a bunt single for Nootbaar. Nootbaar, the go-ahead run at first. The tying run is Saggese at second. Nolan Gorman, the batter, drills a base hit into left field. This will tie the game, and Nootbaar going to third safely. And the Cardinals have battled back to tie the game. It's 5-5 in the 8th inning, still only one away.
As we said, it's a tough day to pitch, and we were talking out in the 7th inning that there's still a lot of baseball to be played, even with 2 innings to go, and it's showing it as the game is tied.
Nootbaar scampered to third. Saggese scored easily. The tying run is in. It's 5-5, still only one away, and Pedro Pages is the batter. Or is there going to be a pinch batter? There will be.
I think the other catcher, Pozo, is going to hit.
Pozo ready to step in. Yoel Pozo, infield back. And the pitch by Keller, swing and a foul at the plate. Four straight batters have reached. All on base hits. A homer by Burleson and 3 straight singles. Pozo takes down low, 1-1.
Pozo, he's only got 78 at bats so far this season, but he's hitting .321. Does have a couple bombs in those 78 at bats.
Cubs keep the infield back with men at first and third. Here's a topper foul toward third. So the Cubs are gambling that they can turn a double play on Pozo if he does hit a ground ball.
Yeah, he's a big guy, does not run well.
Pozo undoubtedly will stay in the game and do the catching. Let's see if Keller can strike him out. The 1-2 pitch from the Cub right-hander. It's outside. Tried to get him to chase. 2-2. Five game. The next offering low for a ball. It's 3-2.
Trying to throw that pitch down and away just to induce that ground ball, the sinker, and it's just missing off the plate away a couple times from Keller.
And the 3-2, the runner at first goes. A deep fly ball to left. This is going to leave the yard. Long home run for Pozo. And the Cardinals take an 8-5 lead here in the top of the 8th inning.
2 home runs for the Cardinals here in this 8th. A solo shot and now a big 3-run bomb. And we talked about it, you know, big numbers can be posted on a day like today. This little inside slider, and it ends up down on Waveland Avenue.
The pinch hitter Pozo with a 3-run home run. And now Victor Scott the batter, and he'll take down low. Cardinals have scored 5 in the inning. Still some baseball left. Top of the 8th inning. Now the next pitch fouled away by Scott. .419 feet on that pinch hit home run by Pozo. This ball is fouled away off to the left, out of play. Still 2-2. And now the 2-2 pitch. Upstairs to Victor Scott. Cubs will have Matt Shaw to lead it off in the bottom of the inning, and then Happ and Tucker, and hopefully a few more after that. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Scott is the strikeout victim. 2 down in the 8th inning. 8-5 St. Louis, and the batter is Brendan Donovan.
Good fastball by Keller, 98-mile-an-hour heater, right past Scott.
Donovan will take a strike. Donovan with a pair of singles and a walk today. He swings and misses. The count 0-2. Five straight hits in the inning, and 2 of those were home runs in this rally for the Cardinals. Donovan looking at a ball downstairs. 1-2. 8-5 Cardinals. There's the ball that missed outside. 2-2.
Now bottom of the 8th, Shaw will lead off, and then it'll flip around to the top of the lineup for the Cubs.
Here's the 2-2 from Keller. Popped up. Should be playable for Shaw at third. He's got it, but the Cardinals take the lead with a 5-run rally in the top of this 8th inning. With the Cubs coming up in the bottom half, it is St.
be in, the middle of New York to display a card like this is really such a big part of the Fanatics mission. We think about how do we create new experiences. Now we get the opportunity to put incredible Holy Grail cards in front of tens of thousands, if not millions of new people. It's not just about collectors today, but also about how do we bring new collectors into the space as well. It's really what we do it all for.
We play in Toronto. Guerrero sends over some good stuff for the guys, so when we play in Toronto, I definitely dive into that.
You gotta be careful with Vladdy, bro, because a Dominican breakfast will put you to sleep, bro. ¿Cómo está sonando la comida dominicana ya?
La comida dominicana ya no sé cómo está sonando, porque obviamente mi esposa me cocina. O sea, hay restaurantes, pero no voy a comer comida latina.
The more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch.
Time for the out-of-town scoreboard, sponsored by Club Citgo. Download the Club Citgo app now and instantly save 23 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. Top of the third in Miami. The Marlins leading the Brewers 2-1. Kyle Stowers with a solo shot, his 16th. Pat?
Zach Justin Turner is going to pinch hit to lead off the Cubs' 8th inning and take a strike from JoJo Romero. Turner trying to crank up a rally, pinch hitting for Shaw. And he hits a high pop fly. This is playable on the infield for the second baseman, Donovan, and he makes the catch, and that's out number one.
Now, Turner with a big swing, got a pitch to hit, and hit it right on the barrel, hit it a mile in the air.
Let's see if Ian Happ now can get on against Romero, get a little something going. Cubs need a couple of base runners right now. 8th inning, one away. First pitch in there for a strike.
Catch of the game today, sponsored by Catch Des Moines. Discover the weekend getaway in Des Moines. Only the S's are silent. Find all the fun at CatchDesMoines.com.
Happ swings and misses.
And that's Shaw with a nice play down the line, landed in the seats, in the netting. So that'll be our catch of the game.
Happ has 0 for 1 and 3 walks today. He takes outside 1-2. Tucker on deck. 8-5 Cardinals, bottom of the 8th inning. Happ batting right-handed against Romero. And the 1-2. Low and inside, 2-2. 40,119 here today. I think some of the fans over on the sunny right side of the field have switched over to the shaded side on the left field side. Not a bad move. Here's a swing and a miss by Happ, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, I would think in the fans in the bleachers, because there's no shade out there today. It's got to be a little difficult.
2 gone. Let's see if Tucker can get on. Suzuki is on deck. Get the feeling the Cubs are going to need at least 1 home run to win this game, maybe more. Swing and a miss by Tucker. Tried to hold up, couldn't do it. Michael Busch has homered today. Carson Kelly has gone deep as well. Tucker 1 for 4 as he waits. 2 down, 8th inning. Check swing foul. Accidentally made contact. Or did it hit him? It's hit by a pitch. I saw the signal by John Tumpane. I thought he was saying foul tip, but he was saying that the batter got grazed. Oh, no, here it is. I see what it is. Catcher's interference.
There you go.
Pages replacement. Ozo doing the catching now. He got his glove too close to the bat and interfered. So Tucker takes his base. Cubs get a break. And here is Seiya. And he'll take a strike.
Boy, now you really need Seiya or Pete Armstrong to launch one. If Pete does, that means Seiya got on.
Grounder foul, third base side, 0-2. Getting close to a station break. After this next pitch, we'll send one along. Cardinals 8, Cubs 5. Bottom of the 8th inning. 2 down, Tucker at first. Suzuki trying to keep the inning alive. Joe Romero ready. And the 0-2. Bouncer foul, we'll do it again. Let's pause 10 seconds for station ID. On the Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network.
Covering the Cubs and all of Chicago's teams on the Spiegel and Holmes Show. Afternoons 2 to 6 on the Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs Radio Network. WSCR Chicago, WBMX HD2 Chicago, an Odyssey sports station.
With Ron Coomer, Pat Hughes at Wrigley, Zach Zaidman working alongside. Seiya takes down low, didn't miss by much. The Cardinals rallied and scored 5 in the top of this 8th inning. And they now lead 8-5 with 2 outs, Tucker at first, and a 1-2 count on Suzuki. Just inside, 2-2.
Romero trying to stay inside with these pitches, so there'll be a fastball or breaking ball, and has missed inside a couple times.
Suzuki without a hit today. He has one now, I believe. A line drive into left center, all the way to the wall. Tucker around third. He's going to score on a double by Seiya Suzuki. And it's an 8-6 ball game. Almost looked like he hit it with one hand, Ron.
Yeah, this pitch fools him. It's a little backdoor hook, and he goes out and stays on it, and then just serves this ball. Hits it right on the barrel, though. And it carries into left center field and gets all the way to the ivy. Cubs catch a break. The ball does not stick in the ivy. It rolls back out. And because of that, Tuck is able to score all the way from first on the double by Suzuki.
Just a typical Cubs-Cardinals game. That's all this is. Pete Crow Armstrong batting. And he'll take high from Romero. Now a long ball could tie this game up again. Crow Armstrong is due today. 0-for-3. The pitch to Pete. Swinging a roller to first. Fielded by Contreras. Unassisted play ends the inning. The Cubs get 1 and leave 1. We go to inning number 9. Cardinals 8. Cubs 6 on the Score.
All right, so here's the Mets home jersey. To me, growing up in New York, also a very iconic jersey. The blue pinstripes that represented the Dodgers. Got the orange outline, which represented the Giants, which are the 2 teams that left New York. And then subsequently, the Mets were created. You know, my parents were Mets fans growing up, and this was the jersey that I also dreamed of wearing.
Endless possibilities awaits. Start planning your next adventure by visiting exploreminnesota.com.
Top of the ninth inning at Wrigley, St. Louis 8, Cubs 6. The ninth inning is brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. The more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. Pat?
It's well put, Zach. As we go to this ninth inning, Mason Wynn will take high for a ball. Hardest working player. Have we done that already?
Yeah, we did. Remember, we talked about
fine.
the catchers and the umpire behind home plate, John Payne.
It's time, Ron, for you to start thinking about the toast of the game, ball player, presented by Benny's Beverage Depot, the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. 8-6 St. Louis, top of the ninth inning. Porter Hodge, the new pitcher, fires low to Mason Wynn. And now the 3-0, and that's going to be a strike. Glancing to the bottom of the ninth inning, Cubs are going to have Swanson, Kelly, and Busch due up. Here's a high fly ball to left, shallow and playable for Happ. Ian will slap the leather on it for out number one. Wynn is retired, and the batter Wilson Contreras.
Tough play of the game, sponsored by Loyola Medicine. Loyola Medicine defines tough. That Shaw made a really nice play, hard to his left early. What about that one? What do you think of that? A tough play of the game.
Contreras 1 for 3 with a walk. He will take inside for ball one. Ryan Helsley throwing in the bullpen for St. Louis. No surprise there. He's closed the majority of their save situations in the last couple of years. Hard thrower. But he has not been invincible. Hodge brings it, and that's going to be a strike. 2-1. Helsley 16 for 21 saving games, just for the record. Contreras takes a strike, 2-2. And the next pitch. Swing and a miss. He gets him. 2 gone, top of the ninth. That run scored in the bottom of the eighth might turn out to be a very important run.
Yeah, it does. You know, it puts a lot of pressure on the Cardinals. You get one guy on and you can tie the ball game with one swing of the bat on a day where anybody can reach the seats.
And you get 2 guys on, and any guy could win the game against you. Alec Burleson stepping in. Burleson homered back in the 8th inning. He is 3 for 4. The left-handed batting right fielder Burleson will take a strike. 1-1. This guy's strong, left-handed hitter. Swings and misses. He got fooled. Tried to hold up about 2/3 of the way through the swing and couldn't do it. Cardinals got 5 in the 8th inning to turn the game around, and they lead 8-6. Here's the 1-2. Strike 3 called. Excellent job by Porter Hodge. Cardinals are retired in order. Cubs need 2 to tie and 3 to win. Let's see if they can do it when we come back. It is 8-6.
Like build this for them and spend the last year of coming up with this concept and getting it off the ground and getting everybody here. Like, it just feels really good to have everybody coming and experiencing the thing that we've been working so hard on. To be able to like take the experiences of Comic-Con and add that to a card show just is really fulfilling, because as somebody who grew up going to card shows and still goes to the same card show in the same church basement in Trumbull, Connecticut every month, like, it's great. Card shows are amazing, but to be able to add all of this experience is what makes this great.
fridge.
With all those games, we gotta refuel. Stream live baseball with Wi-Fi built for the biggest moments. Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary, not guaranteed.
Get huge savings on pools, patio sets, everything for your backyard fun. And right now, get special financing for 60 months. American Sale. Bring the fun home.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs. Pat?
Garrett Hampson has come into the game in right field, and Helsley is the new right-handed pitcher for St. Louis. Hard thrower, works over on the right side of the pitching rubber. Dansby Swanson leading off the ninth inning. Cubs trail 8-6. And Dansby drives one in the air left center, but it's not going to carry. Nootbaar now will drift back and make the catch. He did end up carrying a lot farther than we thought. It was on the warning track when he hauled it in. Look at those flags out there, Ron.
Ball really carrying now, so, Cubs just need to get a base runner, and anybody can reach the seats. That ball had to carry an extra 35, 40 feet.
Wow. There's Carson Kelly. Helsley delivers to Carson. It's down low for ball one. Kelly with a double and a homer today. His objective right now, just get on base any way you can. Swing and a miss. And the count 1-1. Michael Busch on deck. Helsley has allowed 4 home runs. Here's a fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Nootbaar at the track. Makes the catch right in front of the vines. Kelly just missed an extra base hit. Out number 2. 2 warning track fly ball outs to begin the inning.
Yes, a little slider away, and I think Kelly right on time, but catches this ball just off the end of the bat enough to keep it in the ballpark.
And now Michael Busch represents the Cubs' final chance. 2 down, bottom of the ninth inning. 8-6 St. Louis. And Busch will take a strike, a breaking ball.
How about Michael Busch as our toast to the game ball player with a single, a double, and a home run.
Swings and misses, and all of a sudden the Cubs are down to their last strike.
Bushy will be our toast to the game ball player. 4 home runs in the last 2 days.
Let's see if he can put it in play here. There are some Cardinal fans here, just like there are always some Cub fans over in St. Louis. And the 0-2 from Helsley. And it's popped up foul and out of play left side. If Busch can reach, Nico Horner is next. Wind blowing straight out to center. Busch trying to keep the Cubs going on this Saturday. And the 0-2. Low for a ball. That was 102 miles per hour. This guy's got a great arm. Ryan Helsley delivers 1-2. Inside, it's 2-2.
Yeah, almost every fastball he throws is triple digits.
Busch having a tremendous series. 7 for 8 with 4 home runs. And the 2-2. Tap foul to stay alive.
That last fastball, 102 miles an hour at the knees. Bushy got a piece of it.
Two down, bottom of the ninth inning. 8-6 Cardinals. Bases empty, and the 2-2 pitch from Housley. And Busch swings and misses, and the ball game is over. The Cardinals have beaten the Cubs 8-6 here at Wrigley. We'll be back with the totals in a moment on The Score and the Southwest Airlines Cubs radio network.
Hey Cubs fans, it's Craig Counsell. Listen to every game here on the Chicago Cubs radio network.
Future You is using their rapid rewards for their next vacation. All thanks to present you signing up with Southwest Airlines, where you earn points every time you fly. Because what's the point of points that future you can't use? And since your rapid rewards points don't expire, you can save up for that big trip. Get ready to reward future you with a future flight. Sign up for Rapid Rewards today and redeem your points on any seat, any day, anytime. Only at Southwest. All Rapid Rewards rules and regulations apply and can be found at southwest.com/RR terms.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly. James Hardie Building Products knows how important your home is. That's why they're rated the #1 brand of siding in North America. James Hardie is proud to sponsor the Cubs. James Hardie Building Products, siding with the Cubs.
With these designs, I wanted to bring out the Old English letter font, but add a twist to it. This is one I've developed over the years and used on a lot of tattoos. You could tell a sign painter or a lettering person by their numbers. That reveals a lot about them. It's an honor to design for the Dodgers. It's almost gone beyond sports, even into fashion. People wear LA caps all over the world.
A lot of baseball fans have some familiarity with the T206, American Tobacco Card.